Okay. I think most everything should be set up here. Give me one sec. I'm looking a little yellow right now. Might need to turn the warmth down on some of this lighting, but we'll figure that out in a sec. Welcome in, by the way. I'll do the full intro in a sec, I promise. Give me just one moment. I'm gonna turn that music down just a bit. Really don't need the desktop audio all that high. Just have it on in the background. I'm not gonna be doing many cuts, so I don't mind. There we go. Twitch should be up and running now. I don't mind having the music on in the background because with any luck, we should be... Okay, perfect. All right, I'm going to do a quick little post on Reddit, let people know that we're live right now. Okay. My apologies, guys. I'm getting stuff set up right now. I probably should get one of those. Should probably get a screen to start this off later on. But it's all right. It's going to be a minute before people kind of wander in anyway, so I'm not super worried about it. I'm going to go through a bit of a preamble here. Then we're going to open up the floor to callers and community members who want to get involved. And we're hoping to get as many as we can. If we don't end up getting enough callers to really make this interesting, might just hop into the server. We'll play a bit. No big deal. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in, welcome in. See, we got a couple people popping in here. I'm not paying super close attention because I want to get a link up to the Discord for those who want to jump in. Here we go. Welcome in, Allie. Good to see you. I was just about to message you. Thank you. I apologize that I wasn't on yesterday. All right, let me get... If you guys have any friends or you know of anyone else, or you want to hop in yourselves, I think we're probably going to hop in with a community member first before we hop in with any strangers. Just try to get things together. So if anyone's interested, go to the general and just let me know. That's basically, it's going to work. Man, it's been a while since we've done a live, since we've done a proper call-in show. One sec here. Right. All right, my apologies that I'm still setting stuff up here, but give me just one sec. All right, edit that. There we go. I do want to make sure that we're getting that in there. There's the Discord link. And I'll throw it up on the YouTube as well, just to make sure it's working. There we go. All right. All right, Reddit's probably going to be mad at me for daring to post links to anything, but Reddit's always mad at me, so I'm not super worried about it. Okay, Hephaestus, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. All right. I see Allie's already in the voice channel. You want to be the first one to get interviewed? Because if so, that's fine. If you're in. Let's fucking get it. Let's fucking get it. Let me go through a little bit first, just to say a couple of things here. First of all, let me start with the actual intro. Sorry, it took a sec for me to get everything set up. Welcome in, you guys. I am, as always, your master of ceremonies, the Richard. It feels less dramatic now that the microphone is fake. But I'm happy you guys could be here. What are the questions? I got a couple generic ones. Mostly I'm intending on getting people to just talk about what they like about the game, where we are with the game. You said it's been a while since you've played. Shit, it's officially been a year. Oh, God. Okay. Build 42 has been out for a while now, and it remains controversial still. But with all the rumors swirling of stable being released within a month, 1 to 3 months, with things with the with all the rumors swirling that things could be open within that unstable could be released within 1 to 3 months, it's crazy to think. You know what? I'm rambling at this point. You know what? Why don't we go ahead and hop in? All right, Allie, can you hear me right now? Hello, hello. Let me see if you're showing up on here.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm actually gonna turn myself down a bit.
It's been like a fucking year since we last talked, eh?
It has been a while, I know. I'm sorry I haven't been around with the unemployment fortunately ended. Thank God for that. But we're not focused on that. Been out of that for a while now. Was rough, but it was the past. We're moving on. Let's stick to the Project Zomboid stuff for right now. You said it had been a minute since you had played the game, though, right?
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's part of what we're here to talk about. I mean, what was the last big thing you remember really doing in the game?
Crafting, smelting.
Mostly smelting? Okay. You know, I feel like that's going to be that's going to be something that links all of us together, is that everybody remembers the last thing that did in Build 42 being trying the new smithing mechanics, and then just for some reason they couldn't play much after that. I feel like that's going to be something that we all share.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I'm getting back in my interview groove here, so you're gonna have to be patient with me.
Nah, take your time.
Thanks. How did you feel about the crafting when you last played it?
Fucking hate it. I enjoy it.
Well, we're starting out with some strong opinions here.
The barricading, they changed it. Fuck them. Fuck them.
That is true. They did make it. They've kind of rolled that back, so I know exactly what you're talking about is the worst thing. They made it so you had to do barricading through the menu instead of being able to just right-click on the window and just do it directly from there. They have kind of rolled that back now. There's not that passive-aggressive message that says you must go through the window now, or go through the menu now. So it seems like they're starting to roll that back a bit. You know.
Yeah, okay, that's good. I mean, the crafting menu is still, well, from what I remember, was a really big pain in the ass to navigate.
Mm-hmm. What do you think was the thing that made you stop playing?
Just too much shit. There's too much stuff to go through.
Well,
like,
tell me what is shit? Define shit for me.
Well, ideally it's something that comes out of your ass, but
Ideally.
Yeah. And I don't want to be talking shit out of my mouth, but primarily, I'm just gonna say crafting. I enjoyed Build 41.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of aspects from Build 41. Maybe it's because it's just new and I don't like change, but I will say I do like Build 42, like all the crafting and the building menu. That's nice.
Well, I find that interesting because you said you hated the build menu not that long ago.
Well, I mean, I'm in your server now, and you have a mod, and it looks really nice.
That's true. Okay, well let's go with that then. What do you think? Because I'll specifically the one we're using in the New Memphis server is the Neat UI framework, which I have wished that the vanilla game would have something similar for like over a year now. I've just hoped and prayed they would finally do that, and they still haven't. Yeah, so you do like, but you like the Neat UI framework. You think that's really superior to what they have now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I haven't seen the UI yet, but yeah, no, I'm pretty keen to fuck around with it.
It does feel a lot better to play. What was your experience with the blacksmithing, if you remember?
It was a lot.
A
You
lot.
needed a lot of shit to do it, and it just kicked. Yeah, no thanks.
Okay. So you just sort of it's unfortunate that I feel like that was such a a shared experience for a lot of people there where and tell me if you think this applies to you. A lot of them came into these new settings, really tried to get their minds around it, came in with good intentions, tried to wrap their minds around the new crafting system, and it was just so obtuse. It was so there were so many individual things that you needed to build basic objects. It just really wasn't worth interacting with. Is that along the lines of the experience you had?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got it right.
Okay. Well, what things are you hoping that they do change aside from just making the UI prettier? Like
Muscle
what's gonna
strain.
get you to come back and play?
Get rid of muscle strain and just stop it. I fucking hate it. I'm not here to play fucking life simulator.
Well, I mean that's a lot of well, I mean a lot of Project Zomboid players do enjoy it. Do enjoy Life Simulator.
Yeah.
Why am I getting so washed out right now? Oh my god. But a lot of them do that. I mean, there is a lot of crossover with this game and The Sims.
Well, I mean, like, I wish they would tone down the whole like crafting shit because it's just the amount of shit you need that's overwhelming. If they toned that down just a tad or made like customizable options for
Okay.
like easy crafting or realistic crafting, like I'd probably choose the easy bit and learn. But I'm a pussy, so
Do you think it was the sheer volume of materials you needed, or was it more like the specific tools that you needed, where one of those was too much to gather?
well, when Build 42 officially released into Unstable, I remember like the whole long stick thing being a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I do remember
Yeah.
that. Yes, the long stick, which was not the same as medium handles, which are not the same as saplings, which are not the same as wooden rods. It's all of those being individual things that you had to find was part of what made it so obnoxious to deal with.
Is it any better now? The crafting with the handles and shit?
Well, I mean, I'm here mostly trying to ask questions about whether and about what's going to get you to play the game, but it definitely still suffers from the problem of too many individual parts, components, tools. You need too many individual ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was worried about. So yeah, still have a bunch of shit. Alright,
Yeah.
what's the next question?
What have you been playing instead of Project Zomboid?
Um, Skyrim.
Mostly Skyrim.
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
Okay. Mostly modded Skyrim, I'm assuming? In 2026, like it's gotta
Uh,
be.
yeah, yeah.
What sort of mods have really caught your attention in other games recently?
Ooh. Shit.
Well, sticking
I'm gonna
mostly
have
to
to
like
answer that
quality
one
of life
later.
stuff, like gameplay aspects that you feel like have really grabbed you as of late.
Are we talking about Zomboid or just any other game?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm a big believer that Zomboid can learn from other games. So, as someone who played a lot of Zomboid, I'd love to know what about these Skyrim mods drew you to them. You know, just so yes and no, I guess. Again, I want to know what's grabbing people's attention right now. Crossbows. That's what you think Project Zomboid need more than anything?
Really?
I mean,
I really think you could make a crossbow in Zomboid. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you definitely could. And I mean, with it being a staple of the zombie genre, thanks to The Walking Dead, you know, Daryl's crossbow is absolutely iconic. You know, maybe that is the thing. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what you need. I mean, the shotgun would still be nerfed, so you'd still have trouble getting your aiming skill high enough. But
yeah, bows, crossbows, more swords, daggers and shit. Well, you have knives, but
there are actually quite a few swords and daggers now, as far as, but they're in. Well, I mean, they're in the same blacksmithing system. So there's.
Oh, fuck off! Really?
Okay, but that's interesting though. So
it is.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things you would like, but they're locked behind 8 levels of blacksmithing, and that's just, you think it's just too much. Yeah, you got to get to like level 8, 9 if you want, especially because a lot of them require the schematics. You basically have to get to the next level above it. Like, you know, if you if you don't have the schematic to smith a certain type of dagger, you can smith it anyway if you're 1 level above. And since finding schematics is so obnoxious, you can just you're mostly just going to be going 1 level above for everything. And since most of the swords and daggers are like level 7, 8, 9, you're pretty much going to have to get to level 10 blacksmithing in order to craft the best stuff. It does get to be a bit much.
Do we have a journal mod?
Skill journal mod. I tried to install it. I don't know if it actually worked or not. Some of the mods have been... I have a bunch of mods installed in the server, and some of them have like slowly been turning on with each update. I think as the mod authors are actually updating them. So there's a few on there. Yeah, I'd have to check and see if it's actually activated right now, to be honest.
Nah, that's fair. I just didn't want to die and lose everything.
Yeah, I mean, that is... And honestly, I think that's one thing that Project Zomboid's devs could probably take into account with the multiplayer. With it being... It's not a particularly glitchy experience. You know, even right now, there are certainly worse ones to have. There are certainly worse, more glitchy multiplayer experiences than this. But at the same time, you know, bullshit deaths still happen. So it would be nice if they had something like the skill journal mod, at least for multiplayer. You know?
Yeah, of course, yeah. No, I was just wondering if you had it installed or not.
Yeah. Okay, hey, this is still an interview. I'm still trying to figure out what other mods would you like to... hey, look, you're my practice. I'm getting back into the groove on this. I'd like to make this a weekly thing, but I gotta get back in the habit. Hey, welcome in, Saul. What other mods would you like to see on the server?
Skill journal if you don't have it.
It's definitely
KI5?
It's definitely installed. I just don't know if it's working. The skill journal. What was the other one?
KI5 vehicles. Those are pretty cool. I like those.
Oh yeah, they were having some trouble updating the last time I installed them. That is the only reason they're not installed right now. I also love KI5's vehicle mods. They're not installed right now only because like the sheer pace of updates we've been seeing made them kind of a pain in the ass because they would break like every single time.
Yeah, okay, no, that's fair.
Yeah, but KI5, that is on the radar. What things would you like to see tweaked as far as gameplay? I mean, you haven't played Project Zomboid in like a year. You're coming back to it now. What are the things that you're thinking, oh, I hope he has a fix for this obnoxious mechanic or this? What's that thing that you're hoping gets fixed in the server so you don't have to groan and like have to put up with it when you come back to Zomboid?
I've got a couple if you don't mind.
Please.
Ripping clothes or like dismantling screwdrivers. You have to do that one by one, which is a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's... I don't know why... I don't know if that was a specific change they made or if it was due to a glitch or a bug or an oversight, but it has been obnoxious.
No, actually, I think you can dismantle them all in the crafting menu, but who uses the fucking crafting menu?
I mean, even if you do, That is true. You can dismantle more of them, but it has to be the same item through the crafting menu. So, like,
Yeah,
if you want to dismantle 20 watches, you can, but they all have to be the same type of watch. Like, if you have a metallic digital watch and a regular digital watch, you can't queue those up both in the crafting menu. You can only queue one at a time. That's actually been a massive pain in the ass when it comes to dismantling the jewelry, because that's a big way to power level your blacksmithing now, is finding jewelry on zombies and breaking it down and smelting it. But
oh yeah.
yeah, but because there are so many different variations of jewelry, it's one of the most obnoxious processes, especially in multiplayer without a fast forward button, because you can't queue it. You'll have like 80 different pieces of jewelry that are all individual items, and you can't queue them at all. It's incredibly obnoxious.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I really liked one mod that you suggested in the past was, what was it? The auto train tailoring and auto train mechanics mod. That was really, really good.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've still got those.
I think that's
You
one
have
of
them on
the.
server?
I don't have them right now. I don't know the specific mod you used. If you want to DM those to me, actually.
Yeah, no, I'll DM them to you later tonight.
Yes, please. I would. I would actually love that. All right. All right. Anybody? Oh wait. I think I got disconnected. Real. Can you still hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah. Sorry. Things are. It wouldn't be a new mem for stream if something didn't go horribly wrong. But hey, if that's the worst thing that happens
yeah.
tonight, it'll be. Call that a
Yeah,
victory.
yeah. Fucking oath.
All right. Well, what other stuff do you want to talk about right now? If not, I think we might invite Hephaestus in here. I'm curious to hear his opinions as well. But if there's any other stuff, oh, Signy, hey, welcome in too. Is there any other stuff you wanted to cover?
No, I might chime in on things that Hef has to say, but other than that, I'm just gonna chill here and listen.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, honestly, I might invite you on again, or we might even do a group thing. We'll see. Again, for everyone listening, I do eventually want to make like do like a talk show thing every week. That would be fun and it would be cool. And if tonight ends up being just the community and no one comes from, I don't know, I'm trying to advertise other places, but it's hard to find people. If it just ends up being the community hanging tonight, that's fine. So I might invite you on again, Allie, if that's all right. So be thinking about other stuff you want to see in Zomboid.
Oh yeah, no, of course. I'll definitely do that.
Hell yeah. All right. We'll just keep using the general voice chat. Hephaestus, if you want to jump in here, we'll go ahead and talk a bit about, because I'm curious to know about your play styles. Because I know that you're one of the people who has one that's very different from mine. You can see it. Why don't you let the people know real fast? Because what is your quick little history with Zomboid? Give us your 30-second recap of your history with the game.
I can do that. Really quick, I have been playing since build 40. I currently have 2,309 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been playing basically nothing but build 42 since it released last year.
Yep. That's why I wanted you to do a preamble. You're one of the few people we have here who puts me to shame. Like, absolutely.
I'm a certified old head. But I do actually agree now that I've played a lot more of 42.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of shit that is going well, but a decent amount more that could be better.
Okay.
Like, I do agree, the crafting currently is fucking obnoxious. There's, like, even for opening bullets, there's no reason that you couldn't just hit, like, open all.
Yeah. I know that one of the most common mods now is load all magazines.
Yep. There's no reason that's not just a vanilla feature. That is a button click.
Yeah.
And like a lot of those things, like the auto tailoring, also, by the way, that mod is literally just called auto tailoring and auto.
Oh, is that all?
Mechanic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep, it's very straightforward.
All right. We'll go find that one.
But Like there's a lot of things in the modding community that could just be vanilla features that don't make sense that they're not in the game. Like fucking motorcycles.
Yes.
Like
And
how long is it going to be till we get vanilla motorcycles?
bicycles
or
too.
vanilla RVs?
Yes, even better.
Like it's not like those didn't exist in the fucking like 90s. And there's currently already like evidence of mods working very well with those. I personally think it would be more interesting if the like RVs were like something that once you parked it, you could convert it into base mode, and then it would basically just be mobile base. But I could see where the coding for that would be a little fucky.
I mean, it's not like the game isn't
like-
already notorious spaghetti mess as far as its coding. So, you know, why add to it? Why not?
So, when in doubt, more spaghetti. But like for the animals, for a lot of other things that have been going on in the build, like I am honestly really impressed with how things have been going. Like the animals are hilarious, albeit finicky. Oh wait, Project Cook. Oh hell yeah.
Oh, Project Cook is amazing.
Fucking RVs, buses, box trucks, mails. Like, they have all of these things, and they're basically doing nothing with them. Crossbows, bows and arrows. There are several very good mods that include those. There's no reason that those couldn't be vanilla features, especially since they want to include fucking hunting as, like, a thing.
I want to add one really
like,
obvious one, too, if you don't mind. I want to add one onto your list. The fact... It still surprises me every time I reinstall Zomboid after a stint away that prying open doors with a crowbar is still a mod. That's still not a vanilla feature.
Yeah.
That one drives me nuts.
Is...
Look,
Yeah,
so a crowbar isn't even a
no
tool.
excuse for
It's
that.
just a weapon in vanilla Zomboid. A crowbar,
Which
despite
is
being the insignia
just
of the
wrong.
burglar, crowbars cannot be used to pry open doors and windows still. In vanilla. Obnoxious.
Yeah, just objectively silly.
Agreed.
Like, it'd be like putting scissors on Taylor and then being like, oh, weapon. You can't do anything with scissors, you silly Billy.
Yeah. It's getting to be pretty insane. Like, the numbers of things that are so basic to the point where they're so consistently, like, the top 3 most downloaded mods. Like, why the Project Zomboid devs haven't just taken... You know, one of the most common questions I get asked in here a lot is, oh, well, what do you think they should do with the game? Take the top 3 mods, make them vanilla. Like, copy them, buy them, whatever you got to do. Take the top 3 quality of life mods, make them vanilla. Number 1.
Yeah. Also, beyond that, lockpicking. I feel like having actual stealth mechanics, since they want to incorporate stealth as a serious thing in the game, with lockpicking as a mechanic would be cool as fuck. It would add a lot of depth. It would add a lot of engagement to the game, where, like, in PvP, having somebody actually pick their way into your base would be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And so you get, like,
That's
there's
genuinely
a
terrifying.
lot of very small things that could objectively be doing better. But not to harp on the game entirely, like, there are a lot of things going very well. I personally have been fucking going hog wild with the tracking and the hunting, like, as it currently is.
I barely use those features. Please tell me everything about them.
Long story short, if you are hunting actively, there are like poop trails that you can find. There's if you're using the what's the fucking magnifying glass option?
Foraging.
Basically, if you're using the inspect foraging, there is a litany of things that come up between Oh, I'm sorry. I'm also playing the finals at the same time right now.
Oh my god.
I am a squirrely ass man. But
You're turning into an iPad baby in your 30s, man. Come on. I need at least 2 screens.
You're not wrong. Well, okay. So originally, I was just playing the finals. Well, I was playing Windrose, and then I saw your stream pop up. So I was like, okay, I can tune this in the background and play the finals. Booted up the finals. You were interviewing Ali, and then you were like, "Hey, Hephaestus," as my game started.
Well, do you?
So I'm kind of hoping we lose so that I can refocus myself.
It's all right. Just do your best with it. I'm actually genuinely impressed that you're even keeping this coherent while playing the finals.
Perks of teaching, you kind of got to be a little squirrely.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not paying attention, little fuckers will be sitting there vaping or fucking doing some inane bullshit for no reason.
Yeah, Ali, if you wanna jump on, that's fine. That'll give Hephaestus some breathing room. Go ahead if you want.
If you're feeling it.
Yeah. I'm
Hello, you two.
Hello.
Buongiorno.
As I said in my message, I want to have like extra weapon slings, or like to craft more belt slots for weapons, or chuck a canteen on my bag. That'd be great.
Noir's rifle slings. I'm really sad that mod just doesn't fucking work for me, because
what do you mean?
like I in build 42 I have it and I see that there are weapon like the slings available, but when I wear them it doesn't actually add a slot like at all.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
I wonder if that's
so
another one of those mods that's having trouble with all the updates. There's a few really popular ones that have been.
There's a non-zero chance of it.
Yeah, I will say now, maybe it's just that now I actually work in private security, but I would love to see a mod going off like the extra slings and whatnot. Like, now that I have a job where I wear an armored vest, you can fit a lot of shit on there, and a duty belt. You can fit a lot of shit on there. Like I would love, and I remember, I think it was the individualized, the mod that added the individualized police departments. They also added the duty belts. Those were, that was such a genuinely great system. I would love, especially now that they have the, what is it called? The different types of vests and whatnot. I wish they would expand that and just basically do that with duty belts and have like everything. Like that would, like the full military kit where you can have police vests or security vests or military vests or civilian construction overalls, whatever, and you could customize each of them, as opposed to the very limited slot system they have. And then slings on top of that, so you can swap back and forth between a long weapon, you can carry like a weapon and an axe at the same time. It would be genuinely amazing. I would love to see them expand that, like the ability to carry stuff in general, both for like the actual slotted weapons and tools, and also for like carrying materials and whatnot. I mean, one of the other mods I made sure to have was decrease materials weight, because honestly, like conducting major like construction projects in the game is already obnoxious enough, you know, without them being like 1,000 pounds for like three planks. It's,
as somebody who likes to build his own houses, don't get me fucking started on that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like they could like do a just sweeping wave of weight reductions in the game, and it would not actually make anything worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, like realistically, if you're looking at the game as it is, the actual objective danger of the game is not being cautious enough and getting bored. Because
getting
you
reckless.
Can't die from fucking hammering nails. You can't die from walking out into the woods unless you starve to death. But that would be more of a reckless, like either reckless or bored. And so adding more opportunities for people to engage with the game creatively is not bad. Like, and that's kind of where I was 50-50 on the whole, like, too much crafting. I think if they fixed the UI and then stopped being so fucking hyper specific, the crafting would feel way better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why the fuck do I need specifically coke instead of coal or charcoal or fucking even wood? Like, fuck off. Blacksmiths burn wood, charcoalize it, and then use it as charcoal. Shut the fuck up. That's ridiculous.
I always found it funny that charcoal in general was in short supply in Kentucky in July. I love America in July. Finding charcoal would apparently be near impossible. I've always found that very, very funny.
Kentucky bought into Texas fucking propaganda. Everybody has propane.
Propane accessories. There's not even that much propane, even.
The Hank Hill slander fucking killed blacksmithing before it could start.
Hey, welcome in, Al. Good to see you. We're just talking more about Zomboid. Actually, Al, if you want to jump in here, you got to have your first taste of Zomboid not that long ago in the server. I think we've reset since then. Would love to know your thoughts on playing the game for like as a noob, if you feel like it later. But yeah, shouldn't have to go through. Saul is our documented Build 42 hater, but at the same time, he is right about like the sheer volume of menus. Like, I mean, if you ask any web designer, or any UI designer who works, a job where those things are like important because they do things like, because they help to maximize sales, one or two clicks can be the difference.
Dog shit.
Yeah, 1 or 2 clicks really can be the difference between intense frustration, fuck this game, I don't ever want to touch it again, and look at this crafting system, it's so great. 1 or 2 clicks per crafting encounter can do that. I mean, Ali brought up earlier, now, due to either a glitch or a change, we don't know yet, you can't queue up, dismantling electronics like you used to. Perfect example. 1 or 2 clicks per watch, obnoxious. Being able to do all the watches at once. Oh, this is a great crafting. I love leveling up my electrical. That's amazing. 1 or 2 clicks. Really. Loading up generators, I know, has been one that's especially frustrated me. That to load up a generator, you now have to pick it up, take it to a car. You have to open the car door through the radial menu that half of players don't even know exists, if I'm quite honest. Open up the door, put it in, like right-click on the door to put it in there, select that from the menu, go back to the radial menu, close the door, go to your car, get in, drive where you need to go, get out of the car, use the radial menu to open the door, right-click on the door, pull the generator out, put the generator where you want, go back, get in the radial menu, close the door, and then your generator is moved. That is an insane number of clicks, and in 3 different menus, there's the right click to pick up the generator, the radial menu to open the door, the right click to put the generator in the car, then back to the radial menu to close the car door. That is 4 separate menus. I mean, they're the same, but 4 separate instances of going to a different menu just to put a generator in a car. That is insanity. That is unnecessary. That is the perfect case of 1 or 2 clicks being the difference between a great system and a terrible system. Sorry, that's my TED talk.
No, and that is honestly entirely correct. Like, I am consistently floored with how these guys can be so fucking brilliantly creative and create such absolutely stunning visuals and interesting in-game mechanics with so much depth, and then fucking fumble making it look pretty or engaging with it being pretty or streamlined. Like, it's the guy who like dresses nicely, smells wonderful, takes care of his like everything, walks up to a girl and goes, "Your tits are good, hi." Like, it doesn't even make any fucking sense how you can fumble that hard at the tail end.
It's frustrating. Very, very frustrating. And what's really sad about the generator thing specifically, they came in later. So the guy used to be good at talking to girls, and he chose to go with the tits line because apparently later on he decided that was the winner. That's the really sad part. The system used to be better.
And it's frustrating to watch from the outside for everybody involved. Because we're all sitting here like, buddy, fucking how? What are you doing?
It's incredibly unfortunate. It's really, really unfortunate. Go ahead.
There, we've been yapping about a whole bunch of stuff we don't like. Is there any other specific questions you'd like me to answer as an old head?
Well, the biggest things, I mean, you haven't played as much Zomboid the last year or so because let me ask, did you have a similar experience to the one that I talked about with Ali where playing Build 40, stopped playing for a bit because you started Build 42, decided I'm going to get into the crafting, I'm going to dive into these new mechanics, and that ended up being your like one of the last memories because you just hated it that much? Was that a similar experience for you, or was it totally off base? What do you think?
Weirdly enough, no. Actually, my experience getting into the game has I've still actually been playing it pretty regularly.
All right. So the crafting menus, the new crafting stuff has not dissuaded you.
Yeah, no. For the most part, so I gave up on trying to do blacksmithing just because it's so fucking frustrating. It doesn't feel worthwhile to get into.
I like Saul's Rube Goldberg machine menu.
Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ.
It really feels that way.
But I barely use it. I'm a right click guy. I've been playing since right click. They haven't removed all of the stuff that I do with right click, so I right click my way through. I actually did try out that the Arc mod, and that was interesting.
I've been hearing about that. Didn't seem my speed, but I've been hearing about it. We'll get into how that was later, but go ahead.
It is fascinating, personally. It is actually really cool. Very dysfunctional, but cool on premise.
No, that's Project Zomboid in general.
Yeah, I loved having my first experience be the generators turning off and me suffocating to death on carbon monoxide, even though I was wearing a gas mask with a full rebreather kit. Oxygen tank included, just sitting there yeah, I'm a dead man. Yay, golly gosh.
Well, hope you had the skill journal mod.
Nah. If you die in that one, it just wipes the save. You're done. That's it.
Oh, shit.
Also, I accidentally shot my tutorial person in the back of the head, which ended my game because apparently they took the Skyrim approach, which if you kill any quest important NPCs, you fuck yourself, instead of just being lost in the sauce.
Oh, shit.
Which is such a fucking interesting decision. I'm very much Morrowind. Let me kill the child. Let me kill the quest important NPC. I don't care that I fucked up the story. Let me try to circumvent it, please.
Well, let me ask in that vein.
Consequences.
Do you think that are you excited for NPCs in Zomboid?
100%.
Okay.
Very. Even if they are the buggiest, shittiest, fucking spinning in circles, screaming monstrosities. I want to see what they can do with it. I want them to cook.
All right.
This is one of the reasons that I hate all of the motherfuckers on the Reddit. The chefs are still in the fucking kitchen. Don't complain until the recipe is done. You can give feedback, you can say, hey, I think this would be better, but if you shit all over the cooks before the fucking cake is done, they're never gonna bake it.
So you're a big Indie Stone defender then?
Not even a defender, just they're doing their jobs. This is more or less a passion project at this point, because it's not like it's a subscription model. They've made the money that they're gonna get from everybody buying the game. And every new major influx of, hey, this build added a bunch of cool shit, check it out, splashes some cash back in their pockets. So I can imagine if this is their secondary thing, if all of them had to have primary jobs and this is the backup, unless they're coasting on what they've made somehow, fucking this game is a decade old or longer. There's no fucking way $20 a head for 10 years has gotten them this far.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine they've sold that many copies.
I mean, it's probably in... I'd say they've probably broken 1 million by this point. You don't get to nearly 15 years of continuous development without some serious sales. And over the course of more than 10 years, they've probably broken more than 1 million copies sold. I would think
hope so.
I would hope so too. I mean, it's a good game. There's a reason they made it 15 years. They've done something right. But to get back to like the Build 42 stuff, I am interested in what you think would make the crafting better. Is it just the UI thing? Is it just you need too many materials to craft basic objects? Or is it something else?
I do feel like it's going to be a complicated thing because there are so many opinions that go into the game. But for me personally, I would say streamlining the UI, like making it visually appealing and easy to understand, would be the first big step. Streamlining, like, improvisable, like, why the fuck is a long stick different from a long rod, different from a tree branch?
Yeah.
Like, just let them be the same fucking thing. Actually, hell, that's even more interesting. Make the different things affect the stability of the item. If
I think that'd be a great way to handle it.
Tree branch, yeah, just immediately like half quality. That would be fucking sick. That would kick ass. I
think that would be I've thought about it too. That would be my recommendation. Is like don't make me have to, to make a drying rack have to have specifically this type of fucking wooden rod. Hey, Arday, welcome in. Don't make me have to have that one specific thing, but make sure that we have, but just allow me to swap it out and change some kind of aspect. Like maybe it takes a hit to its durability. Maybe the drying rack takes a little bit longer or a little bit less time. Stuff like that, would go a long way. And because that's before, those are just the obvious ones. Those are just the obvious things that should be swappable. Then you get to the things like, being able to tie stuff. Why can't you tie a spear tie a knife to the end of the spear with electric wire? That'd be perfectly capable of doing that. Why can't you do it? Why can you only do it with duct tape, twine, or strips? Why can't you use electric wire? Why can't you use barbed wire? Why can't you use a whole host of different things? I think it's a basic step to make all like the 14 different types of wooden poles. That's the basic step, because even beyond that, there are still the questions of why can't I use an iron pipe? Why can't I use something totally off the wall that they're going to have to explain? And if they don't even give us like if they don't even give us the basics, who's going to want to play this game? I mean, and I've gone back and forth many times. I've said many times how Project Zomboid, one of its biggest problems, because, I always approach these things not necessarily from like the specific mechanic, but the mindset of the developer, of the creator. And this is where that mindset from the Long Dark days, from the Forest days, from those early Steam Greenlight survival game, where that thinking comes back to haunt the developers. Like, I get they're trying to make it obtuse to a degree to make the player have to go out and find specific things. I think they're trying to keep it a certain degree of ridiculous and hard to do unnecessarily, specifically to fit that mold of like a specific type of game. But that type of game is also dead in 2026. Like, the Sons of the Forest is pretty much a building game at this point. Subnautica 2 is, well, we already know that much about that. But it's at least give us those basic things. They need to completely let go of the notion of the game needing to be a certain degree of impenetrable. Let that go, because it's tedious. Yeah, thank you, Saul. Perfect word. The game needing to be a certain degree of tedious to make that like survival game, hardcore, like to get to that threshold. They need to just wipe that from their minds, because that, I think, is the big thing, both for the wooden rods and also, as Ali mentioned, keys having weight. You don't need that level of obnoxious. Let it go. Sorry, I'll turn it back over to you.
Oddly enough, I'm actually fine with the keys having weight.
Fuck you. I'm joking.
Fair. But like, I like the idea that is optional. Like, for the weight reduction thing, like, that should be a toggleable. Keys have weight, yes or no. That's not too hard. Like, that's a flavor preference for players who want... It's a fucking sandbox game. Like, and I mean, this is something that I said when Build 42 was new, and we had the kind of, like, what are we expecting from it? If it's not both fun and part of the vision, it doesn't need to be fucking in the game. Like, if they want it to be realistic, they have to ask themselves, is it fun? Is it what I want? If they can't say yes to at least one of those, they probably just need to fucking throw it out the window.
Agreed.
And if they're leaning more toward it's what I want, and it's not fun for anybody, they have to accept that they're killing their player base.
I agree.
That there's a difference. There's just a fundamental difference between their vision and what is desired.
And I think it's the unwillingness to compromise their vision for the sake of making the game less of a hardcore survival game that's really drives out players, and especially it drives out new players. Like, if they want that little cash injection each time there's an update to be as big as possible, you know, this far into the game's development, then they need the game to be as approachable as possible. And I should add, I think they've made some good strides there. I think the updates to the game's, the different game types, like removing builder mode and adding those 2 new settings, I think was a very, very, very good move. Because I know a lot of players who started on builder mode, because honestly, I found way less Project Zomboid players than I thought actually even know what half the settings do, or even interact with the settings menu, or even really play Sandbox. Most of the ones I talk to play like Apocalypse, Survivor, or Builder. Most of the players, more than I would have thought, play those. And a lot of newer players, or players who just don't want to play fucking Apocalypse, end up playing on Builder, because they kind of think of it like Minecraft Creative, where it's just laid back, but like not quite that laid back. Maybe like Minecraft Peaceful, back when that was still a thing. But like, they think of it that way, and that's just not what the settings were. I think creating a setting for those people, which it seems like they finally done here, I think was a really, really good move on the part of the developers. And I want to highlight that just to give them some praise. I think that was a really, really good move on their part.
Yeah, no, and like, they are doing a lot of really good things. They are doing some really impressive shit. Considering how old this engine is. Like, yeah. I feel like a lot of people forget that this is a fucking Sims mod. That they've been, like, keeping on a fucking rebreather for over a decade. Like, this is beyond fucking Palpatine Return. This is like the 3rd or 4th iteration. They keep hitting him with the fucking defib. He's got, like, tubes in places that should not be tubed. And it's just like, power. He's got
the full, like, GLaDOS thing strapped to his back now.
Yes. But he's being piloted by Wheatley on occasion.
Oh God. Well, that's terrifying.
Considering the decision-making aspect, it's a little Wheatley. Build 42 has been so weird because there are so many things that I'm so genuinely impressed by, but also so many things that do genuinely piss me off. Saul, if you want to jump in the chat here, honestly, I think this is going to be more of an open kind of thing. It seems to be where the direction we're headed here. So if you want to jump in, you can just come in and talk. And Al, I would also like you to jump in at some point, because I do want to know your thoughts playing as a noob.
things are just, there's so many things I do like, but it, much like with the crafting, I'm finding the same problem of, okay, that's great, that's cool, that exists, when am I going to use it? The new guns were actually kind of that for me. Like, I liked the look of the new Trapper carbine, and I love that it gives you another use for the 1911 and 45 ACP rounds and the 1911 magazines, because those work with the Trapper. Because you have a rifle that runs with 1911 magazines, use 45 ACP. It's fucking cool. I like it. But also, it's like, it holds like 8 rounds max, including the chamber. And I struggled to find a point to use it because I was like, may as well just carry my M16. It's like, it, at the point, I think that's also one reason maybe a weight decrease would be good, because like there's no real weight difference that's really that noticeable between just carrying an M16 with a 31 round magazine versus the Trapper carbine with 8. Like, there's just not, like, if it was significantly lighter, like to the point where I could just throw it over my shoulder, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. But they're never going to make a gun that's that light. Like, honestly, I think a gun that would be cool to have, like a single shot, or maybe like a bolt action, like 22 long, that's like 1 pound, that you throw, or 1 encumbrance unit, whatever they use. Throw it over your shoulder, good to go. Like, a super light one would actually be really, really, would fill another niche. Because they're adding like these bigger, heavier, stronger guns, but they're not going in the opposite direction. And also, that's cool, Al, don't worry about it. Have a great night. But they're not really adding that other end of like, okay, can I get a rifle that's fast? I don't really worry about it. Just let me throw it over my shoulder and take out a zombie or two if I need to. I'm not going to expect him to find any. Something on that end would also be cool to have. Because right now, like I said, I'm finding these bigger, heavier, awesome guns, like the tactical shotgun. It's cool. It's so heavy, I never use it. It's why would I want any gun that's heavier now in exchange for like 2 more rounds in the magazine? That's really not worth it, especially with the shotgun nerfs. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Yeah. Also, I see Saul has joined in here.
Yeah, man. When I was on the server,
the
only problem I really had was, first of all, you couldn't build walls to start off with. That's just dumb.
You know, we might have to sort between what the problems were with the server and what the problems are with Build 42.
Oh,
Let's try to stick to the Build 42 stuff.
You know what I'm saying? It's a Build 42 problem. Because you have to have a certain level of carpentry before you can make a wall, which is insane on Project Zomboid. 41, you can start off, day 1, make a wall. It may not be the world's best wall, but you can still make a wall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you got to make a great wall, just some kind of wall. Build 42 does not allow that. I spent more time in the menu searching for what I need to search for than I did fighting zombies in a game made to fight zombies.
Oh, I feel like a lot of the player base might push back on that. So is Project Zomboid a game about fighting zombies specifically?
Well, I mean, literally, it's called Project Zomboid, and the whole thing is you're supposed to be trying to survive a zombie apocalypse. So,
okay, but is surviving a zombie apocalypse, sorry, I'm not trying to be an obnoxious piece of shit here, but there are people who would push back and say, like, that the game's not specifically a combat game. I like playing it as a combat game, but there is an argument that it's not meant to be.
Well, I don't like having to fight in the game anyway, because to me the combat's a little janky. Things don't quite line up all the time, and there's no targeting system, really.
You're not wrong.
It ain't like when you got, it ain't like with VATS, where you can hit the button and you'll target your enemy.
That's right, yeah, VAT, and it'd be for you it's the VATS in Fallout 76, where it's live.
Yeah. See, I'm not saying that you need to make it where you lock on stop time like that, but it does help when you have a lock on button. So if I'm swinging at a zombie, I'm not a quarter inch off from his head because I'm in an isometric view here.
What's your ideal combat system here look like?
Well, mine would just be that you have a target button. And it could be any target. You can just have I don't know, tab, anything would work. Just have a target button.
So I'm trying to like visualize that for the style of game Zomboid is. I'm like you hold down a target button like Legend of Zelda combat kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Where you just target the closest enemy to you.
Yeah, you target it and you hold it and you strafe. You go to them.
Yeah, you can swing and attack.
Or like in Dark Souls.
And so you don't just be swinging randomly because it's isometric.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you're trying to hit an enemy who's coming towards you, you'll swing and you'll miss, not because you weren't paying attention, but because it was like a quarter inch off to the right or left, and you just didn't have it specifically on their hitbox. Because, well, the view was just weird.
Yeah.
And that kind of causes a problem when you're fighting. So I try to avoid combat as much as I can in Project Zomboid.
All right.
That, and I still cannot understand why these people will not let you have rooftop gardens now.
Yeah, I mean, has it been? Let's not throw shade at the developers quite yet. Has it been confirmed whether that is a conscious choice or was it a glitch? Have we gotten any confirmation from the devs?
Oh, it's a conscious choice. So if you go into custom, you can actually click on it to enable it. They on purposely disabled this.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You can do that. I remember seeing that when I was doing the settings for the server. You can do that, but they say it's glitchy. There's a pop-up that says this is disabled by default because it's glitchy, if I remember correctly.
Well, they say it's disabled basically because developers just disabled it and they don't want you to use it. But they don't tell you why. And that's kind of annoying because, like you said, in real life, if I wanted to grow a garden on the rooftop, as long as I got the dirt and the boxes, it wouldn't matter. Same thing as if I wanted to grow, plants in my house. I can put them in a 5-gallon bucket full of dirt, put them near a window, and they'll grow all day long.
I'm not sure I agree that it was a conscious choice, at least that it's not confirmed. Why do you think the developers may have made that change? If you think that it is a conscious change.
It's because a lot of people were basically surviving the game by staying on rooftops and, basically making it where the zombies couldn't get them. So they wanted to make it where you're going to have to come down and fight on the ground and protect your stuff. So they're trying to force you to engage with the zombies instead of just letting you, have a nice, peaceful game up on top of a roof.
I will admit that sounds a lot like something the Indie Stone would do.
Because once you're on top of a roof and you have your food up there, you have your water barrels up on top of your little shack on top of the roof, and so you have all the water you need, you can basically stay up there inevitably. I mean, it's an indefinite situation here. And you don't have to come down for anything because you got food and water. Okay.
So let's keep going with that though. So the devs see it as a problem that you can just survive on the rooftops, and they want to create a reason for you to go down. Is there a better way you think they could approach that?
Oh yeah, well there's a lot of different ways you can approach that.
What would get you to come down off that roof and go fight zombies?
Well, first of all, if I needed the tools for it, if I want to expand my farm, I still got to get down to fight for dirt. Because there's not going to be any dirt on the roof besides what I brought up there. So if I want to make my farms bigger, if there was NPCs that I had to go talk to get supplies, or I wanted something from them, that'd get me again off the roof.
That's true. NPCs could be a really good way of doing that. And trading, things like that.
Animals or something like that, and I wanted to get them up there. Like whenever you had roof chickens.
Oh, the roof chicken, hell yeah. Still our national animal at New Memphis.
If I wanted some roof chickens, I'm going to have to get off the roof to go get some chickens, to get me some roof chickens. So like I said, I kind of expected 42 to be more like 41, but just, they added some better features to it, the animals, cool basements, stuff like that. But what I got was tedious menus, tedious, grinding, and Rube Goldberg machine parts. It's like...
Well, I will say, I don't think the UI was a whole lot better in 41. Maybe a bit snappier and less glitchy, but I don't know if the UI was a whole lot better in 41.
Hold on, when I right-clicked in 41, I could put down a floor.
Okay, fair enough.
On the wall.
Yeah, they haven't had anything. Have you looked at all into the neat UI building system?
No, I was just using what they have on the server. For the server, I'd have to go over to the special menu, have to click on the menu while I'm watching out for zombies. Then I have to go through the menu to find the wall. Then I have to go find the wall part. Then I have to figure out what I need for. It's like, dude, while I'm doing all this in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, this is just insane.
It seems like one of the consistent complaints we've had tonight is just too many menus, too many clicks to do simple tasks. That seems to be the number one issue with Build 42.
Well, when you're in a game, if you get bit, scratched, or pretty much, one of them sneezes on you,
High stakes.
You have to just go through a dozen menus while on the ground, while trying not to get eaten by zombies that can sneak up on you at any time. It's not a wise decision. It's just, like I said, with 41, you just right click and go, oh, I want to build a floor. Right click, oh, I want to build a wall. And you can build it. And you could kind of, work from there. Once you got your little house built, you could kind of, check through your other menus. Most of the time, it was pretty safe because you had your house and you knew if they were beating on the door. So, I mean, I look at it that way. But with 42, you got to go through a lot of work, and you cannot even build walls when you start. Even if you choose carpenter, you can't build a decent wall, or a wall at all most of the time, unless you pick carpenter and handyman at the same time, which is ridiculous.
It is a bit much. It's unnecessary. It's, I guess, obtuse. I'll go back to that word again. It's one of the recurring issues with Build 42. They're adding a lot of things that are cool, but it's just the steps to create it are you're going through too many menus, you're trying too much. I do recommend though trying out the Neat UI. I've been trying to get it. I've got most of the Neat UI stuff working on the server, but I've been trying to get the craft the building one too. It's not right now, but they created a menu that you have to go into to build stuff, but it's much more comprehensive, much easier to use than the one in vanilla. I'd recommend checking it out. If I ever get it to work.
More ergonomic.
Yeah. It's intuitive, maybe is the word. Yeah, if I get it to work on the server, I'll shoot you a DM and I'll be like, hey, you should at least come in and try building a wall with this. At least, because it is interesting. It makes things a little snappier, a little faster to get through. Again, save you those 1 or 2 clicks per build. Makes a really big difference. Really, really big difference.
That, to me, most of the construction stuff should be put all under the same menu. Because I want to tell you this now. If I could build a wall, a door, a table, a chair, a bookcase, and all these other items out of wood, I should be able to carve a stick. I done built an entire house, a library.
Yeah, the carving and woodworking being 2 different skills does feel a bit ridiculous. Like, really ridiculous.
What kind of dumb stuff is that?
Yeah.
The character has less skills than a child, which is just dumb. Because as a child, I could build walls. I used to make, like tree forts and bases as a kid.
Well, it's a video game. We're like Hephaestus said, we're thinking mostly about what makes the game more fun to play,
Well, I'm saying that you're going to tell me that a grown man who's supposedly been alive for at least 20-some years hadn't figured out how to build something that a child could build? I mean, I'm talking about just basic skills. I ain't talking about great items. I'm talking just basic items. I mean, most kids could, make a stick, club. They don't need a recipe for it.
What have you been playing in the meantime while you've been off Zomboid? Mostly 76?
I've been playing Hightail.
Playing what?
I've been playing 76 and Hightail.
What's Hightail? Never heard of that.
It's like...
that's the like Minecraft one I was telling you
like
about.
Minecraft,
with magic and shit.
Oh, so another survival crafting game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's more fun to play.
What makes it more fun?
It's easier. The menus are easier.
Okay.
First of all, if I want to work on something, I walk over to a table. I can just put whatever I want in there. It has my full menu, and it just lets me build whatever I need. If I want to farm, I can farm anywhere I want. I can pick up dirt. If I want to put it on a roof, I can. I mean, it makes it easy.
Yeah, creating more options as opposed to less really is the name of the game that the Indie Stone needs to be following right now. In my opinion.
Yeah. Well, the problem, like I said, I like some of the stuff they've done. Don't get me wrong. All the stuff in 42 is not bad. But when they keep making stuff more and more tedious every time I turn around, it makes me want to play less and less. So I was like, why am I playing a game where I'm getting aggravated with tedious crap that I don't want to watch and do? And I don't have to go through all this when I can just play another game that doesn't have it.
What are some things you did like about Build 42?
Like I said, I like the animals. The animals were awesome. That's cool. I like the basements. The basements was awesome. I did like it's like some of the other mechanics that they had, like where you could pick up stones and make walls out. That's cool. I like that. That's awesome. Like doing the stonework and the pottery and stuff. That's pretty cool. I like that. I believe stonework and pottery should kind of be in the same territory, but that's when you're looking in the build menus. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said, I enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty cool because I was building stone walls. I wish they would lower the weight where you could carry it around easier, but
yeah, the weights are too much. That's one of the biggest things. It's like I get from like a realistic perspective why stuff is so heavy, why obviously carrying 20 planks would probably break your back, but at the same time, I feel like the point of at that point they really need to be like, okay, but it's a game. Like whatever.
Look at it. Okay, your character on average can pick up about 12 pounds for a weight that they got.
Weight units, whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay, if it's just pounds, your average human, like male, can pick up around at least 80, 85 pounds. Like they can pick up a big bag of dog food and run off with it. I mean, they may not be comfortable, but they can pick it up, and it don't hurt them. I mean, I ain't never seen people go, "Oh man, I picked up this bag of dog food, carried it 5 foot, now I can't move."
Yeah.
Seriously.
Dragging the bodies is also way too just destroy. Dragging bodies, just A, having that long animation, and B, destroying your exertion levels has been really obnoxious playing Build 42.
I don't like the whole, how can I say it, the bodies making everybody sick. Like, my guy will be in a car driving down the road. If he passed the body, he gets sick in the car. How? First of all, my windows were rolled up, so it's not like I've got the windows down. So, I mean, I'm just driving by him real quick. I mean, I've drove by many, like dead deer and animals. Yes, they stink, but I don't get so sick that, I get queasy and start throwing up in my automobile.
Yeah.
Now, if I sat there and snorted it, I guess I probably would, go over and take a giant whiff for no reason, just hung around it. But, like, even whenever you kill zombies and you're trying to loot the bodies, you gotta get sick just from standing around freshly killed zombies.
Yeah, I remember that being one of the stats I turned way, way down.
I'm like, man. Because when I was over at the Dixie trailer park, that trailer park spawned zombies everywhere.
Man, you love that trailer park.
Yeah. Oh, I must have killed, I don't know how many zombies in that place. It had to be hundreds, because they just kept showing up every day in the hordes. Just kept showing up. But yeah, I kept killing them things, and one whole side of my base I couldn't go to because if I got within 30 foot of it, my guy would get sick. And there was no way I could drag all those bodies off without making myself sick. So that's just dumb. Plus, eventually you would go nose blind.
It got to be a bit much after a while.
I can understand if you're wallowing in it or wading through them all the time while you get sick, because that's just gross. And eventually, the rot and the goo eventually make you sick. You get some kind of disease from it eventually. But if you're on the other side of a wall, yeah, it may stink. But you're not going to go, getting so sick that you can't move. It's dumb.
Yeah, again, making some of those, they made so many of those different, what you would think would be quality of life aspects, not being able to be around massive piles of corpses because it makes no sense for you to be near them and just be able to sit there. Things that should be quality of life end up becoming obnoxious due to some of the mindsets that the devs seem to be in as far as how difficult the game needs to be. And it gets to be too much. It just gets to be way, way, way too much. And it's unfortunate more than anything. That's the number one thing. And it really alienates players.
I used to work over in a junkyard one time.
Mm.
And it was right next to the slaughterhouse. So you were always next to dead bodies, basically, because they had dead cows and guts and everything out there. And we used to work there all the time, and we never got sick. You go nose blind to it. When you first start working there, oh yeah, it reeks. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it still reeks when you work there for a couple years. It still technically reeks, but you go nose blind to it. So eventually your character would go nose blind to being around bodies.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you ain't wading through them, every 5 seconds, you should be fine. Because of course, diseases will get in them, and you get sick from that. But just being near them shouldn't make you sick, especially not if you guys been around them for months.
I don't know. I go back and forth on it. I like the idea of it making you sick to an extent. Maybe just not how much it does in the game now. Maybe it's one of those things that just needs tweaked.
Galaxy Brain, where the fuck is my Vicks Vapo Rub to mitigate the effects of corpse sickness? Why can't I slather my face in Vicks and just not smell anything?
I mean, arguably, it would make the problem worse because then your sinuses would enlarge and you'd be taking in more molecules of it. Could arguably make it worse.
Well,
yeah.
My character started with one of those air filtration masks on,
Mm-hmm.
and he was still getting sick from it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, he's wearing a gas mask. How is he getting sick from smell? That thing should be negating this.
And if it's just that the smell makes you nauseous, it shouldn't be corpse sickness. It should be nausea sickness. Two separate moodles.
Yeah, corpse sickness would be if you were a cannibal and you've been eating dead, rotten meat, or you've been wading through it.
Should they add cannibalism to the vanilla game?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet? Really?
But,
NPCs soon. Cannibalism soon.
I feel like it would be interesting.
This
is lore accurate? Yeah.
3D Rim World.
I think cannibalism could be interesting in vanilla. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I mean, you see some dude with a bunch of strange meat pies over there, like from Fallout. Mm. We all know what strange meat pies are.
Mm. Have a good night, Allie.
We all know what iguana bits are. They people.
I think that adding more like balls to the wall stuff would be interesting. I've always encouraged games developers to try to find creative solutions to things as opposed to like punishing solutions. Like one of the things I've said before as far as the keys, I think the keys having weight is too much, but alternative solution, maybe if you have more than a certain number of keys, like if you have 20 or more keys, instead of them having individual weight, which I feel like is too much, if you carry 20 or more keys, your character will then take a penalty to their sneak skill, and because they're jingling in your pocket so much. Something like that, like creative solutions, or maybe like cannibalism could fit into that somehow.
Take off of your. Well, I was gonna say for the keys, like honestly, like reducing your stealth radius by 1 per key.
Mm.
Really funny. 20 keys, 20 radius. You're just really easy to fucking detect because you're like fucking Markiplier clip. Just jiggle, 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 jiggle. Everybody this way.
Yeah, honestly, like it's creative solutions like that would be far better than just trying to punish the player with more weight, more damage, more this. Drain your health bar for this stupid reason.
Something spicy.
I carry more keys then. Because I would want to draw them to me because normally I use a card to crush and stick these guys with, so I would be carrying even more keys.
Oh, has anybody else noticed how the car meta has become more and more of a thing as 42 has gone on? Like I even noticed in one of Rick's Detrix's video where he did like that super dramatic like hunter on the outskirts trying to survive, And even then, he like gave up halfway through. He was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna run him over with my car," because it was just the apocalypse and survivor settings were just that obnoxious.
When I was in the server, I had to.
Something.
Go ahead, Hephaestus.
Something I've actually been doing as a challenge because I fucking hate myself is I've actually disabled car spawns. Because the temptation to just use the car as a wrecking ball is just optimal. It's frustrating. So instead, what I've done is I've added the bicycle mod so that I still have a method of transportation to carry goods, but there are no cars. Basically, everybody who had a car got the fuck out of Dodge the second they could.
That is one hell of a challenge.
It has been a breath of fresh air in the game, weirdly enough. Cars make getting to what you want to do very fast. And it's optimal. It's really smart. It's good. But it does speed things up a lot. Whereas having to take your time and actually walking and having to like strategically okay, I'm camping here because I'm out in this big fucking open field, having to really think about what you bring with you has made me like the game a lot more. And so that, for me, that's made me like the game a lot more. I also wish they had brought back that fucking island map. Because that was cool as fuck.
A bunch of the maps are still gone. They still haven't bothered bringing those back. Yeah, the island map, the Hollywood backlot set map. It's really unfortunate. Really shitty.
And it feels like there's no real good reason for them to not have those, considering it's an engine update, not a map-specific update.
Yeah.
Unless it was just a map-specific update and they just polished a turd, which would be fucking crazy.
That'd be a pretty dumb way of doing it.
We didn't actually fix anything. We just made the map itself look prettier. Don't look at these other maps, we promise.
Yeah.
Would be fucking insane.
I did notice that they made the menu better for selecting the the scenario. Like they add these nice little animated things to them, which is great, but also would have been... I really hope that's not the reason. Like, they just want to have a more professional, menu for them. I'm really hoping that's not, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of it. Because it feels like with 42, they're really trying to... there were other aspects. Remember the whole controversy with the artwork that they wanted for the background that turned out to be AI generated? It felt a lot like they wanted to professionalize with Build 42, really shake the idea of even being an indie game. It's an experience or something like that. I really hope that's not why they pulled it, but I also wouldn't be surprised because I feel like they would do some shit like that. I also just wish you could play those maps with more settings, because you could only play the island map on insanely hard difficulty. That map is ridiculous. There is nowhere to hide and so many zombies. You will just straight die, and there's no food at all. It's super, super hard.
Being able to actually sandbox that island would kick ass.
It would. It's a cool map. There's a whole fucking military base on there that I've never been able to actually even get to, because it's so difficult.
But that it kind of links back to what I was saying. It's more options, more opportunities, but don't make them suck to get into. Blacksmithing's cool. I would like to have a mace and a shield and a sword. I know the shield is fucking useless because there's no actual blocking in this game, but I would like to have those things. I don't want to have to get a fucking PhD in zomboidology to understand the fucking blacksmithing mechanics. Or have to treat it like a full-time job to get the burning material, to melt the metal materials, to get the ingots that I need to theoretically craft a dagger so that I can farm my way up to a mace.
Yeah, and the whole system with the crucibles is glitchy as fuck right now.
And that's the problem, is they've got to dial back the tedium, and they've got to bring in the fun. because this game is fun. Like, there's a lot of really cool aspects to it. Getting to them feels like pulling teeth randomly.
What I was saying about that is, okay, in 41 they used to have a mod that would let you build like nails, hinges, all. It was
You
basically
can
like
do
a
that in
blacksmith
42
mod.
vanilla now.
I'm saying they did that in 41, and you could put all this stuff into basically it was like a little forge that was propane powered, and you made these molds for like if you wanted to make pipes, you had a pipe mold that you had to make the mold out of clay with you needed like some kind of pan and clay, and you push the pipe into it, and you didn't have to do all that. You just had to have the parts, but then you could put it in there and then take scrap metal. Like you get like the unusable metal when you break stuff down.
Yeah.
You can take the unusable metal and put it in there and melt it down, and you can make like pipes and rods and hinges and nails and screws and all this other stuff. So it was already in 41, and it worked great in 41. It wasn't glitchy. It didn't screw up. I mean, it was super easy to use.
It's unfortunate that you're describing, in theory, you're describing exactly what they did in 42. But the problem is, again, going back to the mindset of the developers, they needed it to be a certain degree of obtuse, needed it to be a certain degree of difficult, needed it to be a certain degree of difficult to interact with, required you to have that PhD in zomboidology. So now the system that basically is exactly what you're describing ends up being a disappointment. I think that's the key thing with 42.
In 41, you could get parts like any kind of like sheet metal, all like pretty much all metal parts you get from cars, pretty much. In general, like the sheet metal and stuff when you broke down car parts, you could use them in the same thing in the same, as long as it was metal, and it would tell you how many of like just how many nails you can make out of this. It'd let you know. It was a great system, and I loved it. And I used it I played with it on the one server I was on that time, and it was awesome. But then when they got to 42, I'm like, why didn't they just put this into 42 like this? Where you just hook a propane tank up, and it has a little, like, blacksmith forge, and you can just do it. It was awesome. And it ran off of metalworking. So the better your metalworking was, the better you could do it. So metalworking actually had more than one skill. You could break down cars. You could, make walls. You could, forge stuff.
Yeah, you're bringing up another point. We mentioned earlier that carving and woodworking being two different skills felt obnoxious. Metalworking and blacksmithing being two individual skills, or was it welding? I get that welding is kind of its own thing, but like. Just lump it into the same type of blacksmithing at the end of the day.
It's a game.
Yeah, it's a game. It's a fucking game. Like, yes,
just
exactly.
Put that under metalworking and just have all the metalworking under the metalworking.
Yeah.
Put all the carpentry and woodworking under one called woodworking.
I mean, at the very least, they could do like the Outer Worlds. I don't know if the second game did this, but had a really good system that I liked a lot, where you would have a singular skill, but then it would branch out once you hit like 50% of the way through the tree. So like 50% of the way through the woodworking tree, it could split off into carving, official, like real carpentry, and then maybe something else as well. Like they could split. Metalworking at like the 50% mark could split into welding and blacksmithing. Stuff like that would be it'd be a lot more coherent than these individual skills that you individually have to power level. That's what makes it take up all that extra time. It makes it incredibly obnoxious. And honestly, being able to power level your first few levels of blacksmithing, doing something that's just kind of generally related, would take a lot of the pressure off multiplayer servers, because, there's only so many, broken down cars to break down to power level that welding. There's only so many electrical devices to break down to get your electrical skill to those first few levels that you need to hotwire cars and stuff. Like it would take the pressure off. You wouldn't see half the town be disassembled on a multiplayer server that's popular within the first 20 minutes. That would also be nice.
Like I said, like when I was on the server playing with that you have, I mean, all those zombies kept spawning in like constantly. Okay, so I actually had to take a car and kill some of them because
I believe
they
it.
were overrunning my base. And I didn't want to use the car because I was like, this is my best car. I don't want to use this. It's the only one I got. But I didn't have no choice. It's going to be that, or basically my base was going to be destroyed and I was going to get killed. So I had to run them over. And that's just insane that I would have to go that far.
It's unfortunate when cheese ends up becoming the meta. That's usually when you know that your systems are too obnoxious to interact with, when just cheesing your way through it, fuck it, just run the zombies over with the car becomes the standard. That's when you know you need to make a change.
Yeah.
The Indie Stone needs to make a change.
Yeah, because before that point, I was actually just killing them, by hand.
Mm-hmm.
I was fighting them off regularly. And then all of a sudden, I logged back in one day, and there was just like 30 of them at my place.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no way I was going to be able to fight 30 zombies off solo with, nothing. Because I didn't even have a weapon on me. Because I'd been, working on building walls.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some stones on me and stuff, and there was no way I was going to be able to fight, 30 zombies off. So then I get in the car and I start running them over, and more zombies show up. I'm like, good lord, it's like another 4 hordes just show up.
I mean, that's Project Zomboid being Project Zomboid.
There must have been an entire trailer park just full of hordes because they just kept coming.
I mean, you're describing Dixie.
10 minutes. I spent like 10 minutes just running over some zombies. It's like, good lord, this is taking forever.
Yeah.
Even with the car, I could just imagine trying to fight these guys off with a baseball bat.
I will say, actually, thinking about it, I could see the density of the current crafting system being something they attempt to fix with the NPCs. Like finding NPCs who are blacksmiths or who are these additional people to automate the process, and basically you tell them, hey, I want this, this, and this, and they'd go do that, that, and that.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be something they're trying to fix in the future, but they're currently making it a problem in the now.
Is that the direction you think Project Zomboid should be headed? I'm sorry, that's not me trying to be obnoxious. I'm genuinely asking. Is Graveyard Keeper the direction we think the franchise should be going?
Personally, no. I don't think we need another Conan Exiles arc. Fucking.
I saw they just got an update. I was gonna message you about that.
Oh my god, no! I looked at it. I saw they updated the entire engine to Unreal 5. It looks insane.
Yeah, well, I look at their system like what y'all were just saying with the Project Zomboid.
Yeah.
Well, if they're doing that, to me, isn't that shooting yourself in the foot now to increase your aiming skill later? I mean, yeah, you're increasing your aiming skill, but you're shooting yourself in the foot, so you're taking damage from it the entire time.
I mean, there's a lot of different aspects that could be described that way in Zomboid.
So,
I mean,
sorry, what were we talking about before Conan? I sidetracked us. Right. Do we, and Saul, I want to hear your thoughts on this too. I mean, do you think when NPC, I also think there are aspects NPCs could solve. Do we think that a full, base automation and crafting system in the style of, Graveyard Keeper, Satisfactory, Factorio, is that where we think Pal World, is that where we think Project Zomboid should be headed? Or do we think that is even where it's headed? What do you guys think?
Personally,
let's go Hephaestus first, and then Saul will wrap around.
No. Saul, go for it.
I'll say I've actually played a couple other zombie games who actually have NPCs, and
Okay.
they're not bad in the game, but they also, how can I put it? They're just not great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same problem's gonna be with Project Zomboid. Is first of all, they're either gonna have a safe zone where the NPC won't get killed every 5 seconds by zombies.
Yeah, that's one of the
And
things
then
I
they're
was
just
thinking
gonna-
about.
And then people are just going to farm that little zone. They're just going to sit in that zone all the time and not have to fight the zombies.
It'll be the rooftop problem all over again.
Yep. And the other thing, or else they'll build up to a certain level, like outside of it, then build over it, and then just have it where they can go in and out of the place without having to worry about it. And the zombies won't be able to come in there. So then they're going to have, again, like the rooftop problem again. The other one would be like, I think it'd be kind of better if it was more like, I think what's that one game I had? It's like Aftermath, I think it is, where like survivors will just show up at your camp, and you can choose to let them in or not.
Kind of like Fallout 4.
Kind of cool. Well, yeah,
it would kind of be like, I mean, the most relevant example. It would sound a lot like Fallout 4's settler system.
Well, kind of, but like,
with more automation.
It's like the settlers will hear that you've got a camp here and you've built there and it's safer in there. So they'll show up and go, hey, do you mind if I come move into your settlement because I'm good at farming. This guy's good at fixing machines, whatever it is that they do.
Yeah. Do you think that Project Zomboid moving that direction would be a good thing or a bad thing, or do you think that's even on the table?
Well, I think it'd be okay, but I think it would kind of defeat the whole purpose of Project Zomboid, to be honest, because to me, with the whole point of Project Zomboid, when you take multiplayer out of the whole system, is you're the last person alive.
Yeah. The loneliness really is part of the vibe.
That was the whole purpose of the game originally. It seemed like you were the last survivor, and you just had to survive for as long as you could. And that was what made Project Zomboid. I mean, they could change it later on, but to me, that was kind of one of its core features, was the loneliness and figuring out what to do with yourself while you're sitting there chilling, waiting for your crops to grow, or while you're looking for stuff.
So you think you think that it is potentially where they're going, but it wouldn't be like something you're excited for?
No, I wouldn't be excited for it because, like I said, to me, it kind of ruins the whole purpose of it. I mean, they can make it, I guess, okay, but again, if you've got like all these survivors that have survived, and now you're no longer unique, and there's no point. You can just go over to the survivors and get, food or water or whatever it is, just buy it. Yeah.
I guess Terraria might be another example of what that might look like as far as attracting like merchants or NPCs and whatnot. And it wouldn't fit the vibe of Zomboid.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel like it would be something that you'd have in Project Zomboid, because Project Zomboid is supposed to be blocked off from the rest of the world. So where did all these survivors all suddenly come from? Are they opening the gates and sending in random traders?
I mean, if they have an invisibility potion, they can travel at night.
Yeah. It's like, why are they sending these guys in here? If they think everybody here is dead, why are these settlers or traders coming in here?
Well, I'll give my 2 cents on the issue, and then we'll go over to Hephaestus, because I'm curious to know what he thinks about the idea of NPCs being used that way. I personally think it would be the number one issue I would have is simply the fact that before we even get into whether or not it even fits Project Zomboid, by the time they got around to developing a system like that, they'd be about 10 years too late to the party. They'd be introducing a game about 10 years past the point where that type of like factory industrializing your camp style game, by the time they finished the system, they'd be 10 years too late to the party. And there's so many things, and I felt this way about the crafting from the very beginning. There's so many things that need to be fixed right now. So many things you could add right now as far as quality of life. Let's do that before we go to this whole new system that's designed for like late game players. That's designed for like 1% of players. Let's get the basic things fixed first before we even get to the question of whether or not that's a good idea. Hef, how do you feel?
I feel like you got some good points on there, but I think that it would add a level of complexity, because currently that is the end game, is figure out how bored you're going to get with the game before you run off and get yourself killed, or stop playing that save, reboot up Naked and Afraid in Rosewood or West Point if you're feeling spicy, and seeing how long you go until you do it again.
The rooftop problem.
feel-
Once you've got your rooftop farm,
Yeah.
you're good to go. What do you do now?
I feel like the NPCs would fix the rooftop problem if implemented correctly. Not necessarily just an automation, but like if they had like desires, or if there was like, because they have like the story houses and they have like the story car events. If like part of that was you show up to the car event and there's a car crash and there's like a person on the ground, they don't look dead, so you run over, and if you bandage them in time, you have just an unconscious person you can take care of, who becomes like a help, just a guy, somebody you could throw a bat in the hands of and be like, hey fucker, help me out, and they help you out. That's cool. But you know, if they want to do something like that and that person's like, hey, I've got a sister in Muldraw, I was driving over there to go help her, and I got into this accident. Can we go to Muldraw, please? That would be cool. It would force you off of the rooftop and into the world. It would add depth and scope. Also, like, if you have to feed and water these people, it's increased, like, if you are automating the farm, there's a fucking reason for it. Clean water management's gonna be hella important. It stops being just about you and starts being like an actual like can we make society work again?
I will say,
game.
I did really, I've praised before The Long Dark Episode 3 as being the point where that survival game, which came from a similar time period as Project Zomboid, it really fixed the issue by specifically, you know, in your favor, introducing very basic NPCs. You know, what that did, because The Long Dark had the same issue of once you've got a base and you shot like one moose so you're swimming in meat, what do? The answer, sit around and try to fight boredom. But instead, an episode 3 of The Long Dark solved that issue by just giving you really basic, barely even could qualify as NPCs. It was really more of just a bar of health and coal, of food and coal that you tried to just build up to. It gave you a reason to go out and loot beyond what you personally needed and try to actually help these NPCs. It gave you a narrative through line. It tugged at your heartstrings, but in practice, very, very simple. It's just get a certain number of pounds per food and put it in our box, and we'll give you a reward. Cool. There you go. Super simple, and it actually fixed that problem in the way that you described. I still personally don't know if I'm convinced that like it needs a full quest system, because I don't know if it needs to turn into like D&D quite yet. You know, where like you have a full part, you're getting like a, I mean, okay, I'm not trying to say like that far, but like, I don't know if it needs a full narrative quest, especially when, quite frankly, I would expect these NPCs to die horribly, given that they're NPCs in a game like this. They're probably gonna die if you put a baseball bat in their hands pretty fast, unless you create like a safe zone that you can put together, which would kind of defeat the purpose of the game. Like, there would be, I think it would create a lot of secondary hoops to jump through. You know?
Well, like, think about it for multiplayer. Like, you create a safe house. You stash all your shit there. You more or less, like, that's your checkpoint to come back to for loot runs. You build up, you make that home. All that it would add is you drag fucking Steven, the dickhead you found crashed on the road, to home. You put him in and you go, hey, Dick, I have food, I have water, make yourself at home. You're wounded, just sit here for a little bit. and he goes, "Oh, I was driving this way to go get my sister. If you're heading that way, could you look?" And then it's a survivor house, and the sister's been fucking mauled to pieces or something like that. You go back, Steven's horribly depressed, and then it's just like a guy in the apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, it would turn a lot into, like I said, like Graveyard Keeper, basically, where you have like your little NPCs. In that game, it's actually the zombies, but you know, you have your NPC, you slap him at a table, and boom, he'll craft carved spears for you or whatever you need until you tell him otherwise. Like stuff like that, like basic factory stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like
not so much that, more like Sal was saying, Fallout companions and settlements, where it's like they tend to the garden. You could put them on guard mode, and they'll just kind of walk around the house to make sure no zombies get in, and then drag their bodies off if they do. Kind of things, like little Securitrons that walk around and beep, fuck off.
Yeah.
On your behalf.
Versus
if you find like a blacksmith and he's like, "Hey, I was a blacksmith before the apocalypse," you could go, "Hey, if I set up a blacksmithy, can you make some nails?" It goes, "Yeah, absolutely." So you bring him the shit. He tells you what he needs for the recipe. You bring him the shit. He makes the nails, and he does that for you while you're off driving around, killing zombies, doing your thing.
Yeah, I still think that if by the time the Indie Stone implemented something like that, I feel like it would end up being 10 years too late.
Obtuse. 10 years too late, obtuse, 7 menus that really didn't need to be there.
I'd rather they focus on the stuff that needs fixed in the game right now before they do that. I'm not opposed to NPCs. I've said before, the first NPC they should add is just a generic trader who's not even visible. Like, just like at like 1 month into the apocalypse, a store will just be blocked off. It's indestructible, can't burn it down, can't break it down, but there's just a trader and you can talk to him and he will trade you certain things. You know, like, keep it basic. You know, no matter what, I will say, I think NPCs aren't a definitively bad idea. No matter what they want to do or what they want it to eventually turn into, no matter what, they should launch something just so they can find out, okay, how do players actually interact with NPCs? What do players expect when these are introduced? Start gathering that data before you even like launch, you know, the fully voiced versions, you know, in 9 years or something like that. You know, something simple, again, like a trader who's just behind like a steel wall that can't be broken. You just right click and you go into the menu to trade with him. That's it. Basic off the bat, I think, would be a good way to start and find out what people would even want, because I don't think like, I get what you're saying about the NPCs and like making it feel more homey and like, and also creating a narrative reason, you know, for you to go and do things. It would basically just be the annotated map system they have now, but with an actual human to tell you where to go. It wouldn't be like, there's a precedent for it, but I just don't think that's what people come to Zomboid for. I think they come to it, I don't think they come to it even for the crafting. You know, even if you had your guy who could tend to the garden and craft nails, you would end up with so many so quickly that you wouldn't know what to do with them. You know, half the time my biggest problem when I go gardening is that I have so many tomatoes from one plot that I don't have a place to put them. They rot before I can eat them. That's my biggest problem more than anything. You know, not trying to grow enough. It's...
Yeah, which, I mean, like, at that point, that's what your composter's for. You throw all your extra tomatoes in there.
Not wrong.
Freeze what you can. Preserves, fucking throw them motherfuckers in some jars. If you can find them. But, like, there's potential. There's potential for positive, like, because this is definitely more of like an end game changer than it is anything else. And the real problem Zomboid has right now is that the end game is the exact same as it was in Build 40. It's the exact same that it was in Build 41.
You on your rooftop farm.
Yeah, I get to my rooftop farm. I've killed every zombie on the map. Now what?
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing left to do. There's no bandits. There's no, like, decisiveness between people. There's no, like, real objective past what you want. And at that point, it's Minecraft, but without God mode.
Yeah. Agreed.
Which is way more frustrating than it has any right to be.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, you throw in fucking even like a hostile faction of humans.
Mm-hmm.
Throw in 30 dudes who have just taken over one of the spawns.
Mm-hmm.
You pick Rosewood, they get Echo Creek. You try to go in for gas because you're like, oh, okay, I haven't been here yet. You pull up, shots fired. Shit goes crazy, you pull your car off, maybe they pop your tire. Now you have like a, oh shit, these guys are here, they're crazy, they're hostile, I've got something to go for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's like Humanity. That's what they got going on.
Hang on, I'm going to leave you two just for 1 sec while I go to the bathroom real fast. I'll be right back. Also going to grab a beer.
Humanity got that. They got.
You mean Saul? You mean humanites?
Yeah.
You mean humanites?
Yeah, whatever they want to call it.
Humanites.
Yeah, whatever they want to call it. They got NPCs, they got quests, they got hostile guys with guns, they got hostile animals. But the game is a lot more forgiving than Project Zomboid. If I get bit by a wolf in, the game, I don't fall over dead and become a zombie. If I get bit by a zombie, I don't even fall over and turn to a zombie. Unless my health gets too low.
I feel like Humanity feels like shit, though. Like, I tried to play it, and I just could not get in.
Well, I think it.
And I wanted to. I really wanted to. It felt bad.
Well, to me, it feels like a really, really early 3D version of Project Zomboid. With more work, it could be really good. But the problem is it's going to take a lot more work. Don't get me wrong. I like playing it when I play it. It's awesome. I ain't got no problem with that. But it's not for everybody. But by the time Project Zomboid reaches to that point, it's going to be like releasing an Atari game for, when the new PS, 6 is going to be out. By the time they get finished really trying to fix all this stuff, their graphics are going to be so low that the newer players aren't going to want to play it.
Yeah.
By the time they get this thing fixed and sorted, to me. Because they're spending more time trying to sort this stuff out and make some stuff tedious instead of just making the game fun and enjoyable to play.
I maintain, though, I think that the three real big things they've got to figure out is actually allowing players to have fun with their game, making the UI suck less, and then figuring out the end game. That isn't just play the game or shoot yourself.
Well, the third, I like the first two, but the third one, whenever I was on the server, not the server that he runs, but the one that I was on beforehand.
Yeah.
For my end game, I basically built a walled off city, and then I furnished all the houses. I had 64 different buildings I built in rooms in there.
Actually,
all powered, all water.
Funny, Saul. One of the things when I talked to long-running players, I remember Kinji said this as well, and he had 8,000 hours in Zomboid. One of the things I hear consistently from the Apocalypse players is how they solve the rooftop problem, what they do to get to that 7,000 hour mark is mostly decorating. Interestingly, most of it's just spent decorating. Maybe that's the solution.
It's fashion souls.
Yeah.
More decorations. An abundance of holiday-themed decorations.
I mean, 4th of July stuff. There really should be more 4th of July decorations, honestly.
Oh, fucking all things considered, yeah.
I had the Asian build packs, so I could have the little little Asian gardens I could put in there and everything. It looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
And
the bonsai?
could run a chop shop inside the game. So I'd pull in cars, strip them for parts, and store all the parts up to repair vehicles. So people on the server could come over to my place and get their vehicles repaired.
Yeah, loot gobbling is also one of the big things, creating yourself a little dragon's hoard of car parts and tools and other, like, any rare item and books. Like, that is also one of the other things, like, building your goblin's hoard of, like, all the items you could ever possibly need in the game, and decorating. Like, if those two things appeal to you to such a degree, to an insane degree, like, those tend to be the people who play for 7,000 hours. It's like, they go around, they want to decorate in a version of The Sims that's brutally difficult. You know, that's kind of what.
That's basically what I was doing, man.
Yeah.
I would literally go down to Maldra's and loot everything I could carry. And I do mean everything from stoves, refrigerators, car parts, tools, books. I had my own library I built. I built an entire library and just put every book I could find in there.
Maybe that's the answer to the rooftop problem. Maybe that's how you get players. I mean, legitimately, maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's how you get players to come down off the roof and face the hordes, is just new and interesting furnishings, new furniture, flooring, stuff like that, for players to go out and hunt for.
Well, it's the video game mods. So you could get, like, video game systems.
Oh, yeah, that was a cool one. I remember we made a, in one of the servers, I think it was Hephaestus' server, we actually made a point of trying to collect those because they were really cool.
Yeah, I would have really collected all of them I could find. Mm-hmm. And I thought like whole hordes to get to them.
Like, shit, it's part of the reason I like the True Music mods is, like, finding all the cassettes is cool. It's what I like about Lifestyles is, like, I really wish it actually used the toilet paper when you had to shit, because collecting all the instruments, like, if you run out of toilet paper, like, God forbid, you gotta go make a toilet paper run into town, having a comb to, like, and, like, toothbrush and toothpaste to actually, like, pretty.
I did like the cologne system.
Feel better about yourself. Like, it helps your mood. That shit's cool. It adds depth. It adds scope. It adds reasons to leave the ivory tower.
The bathroom one I didn't like, because I remember.
Yeah, the bathroom one was controversial, but it was one small part. We could have disabled that, you know.
Yeah, and it's really funny because, like, we keep going back to it. Basically, the end game is fucking Bill from The Last of Us, where you are this, like, hyper trapper keeper, fucking survivalist with a shotgun in a fenced off community playing dress up and decor with all of your houses. But I think that NPCs would add the Frank, would add, like, some stumbling, bumbling jackass who really shouldn't be alive for you to basically figure out, okay, well, how do I keep you alive, new pet?
Putting NPCs in those houses that you're decorating. Maybe just treating them as an aesthetic thing. Maybe that's it. Maybe that is a thing. Maybe that is where we should be headed.
Having your neighbors, seeing if they want anything. Like, oh, you know, I was an art collector before the fucking apocalypse. I could really go for, like, this specific painting. I was gonna buy it. I didn't get to. Or, like, I was a blacksmith. If you could, like, get me a smithy for my backyard and set that up, that'd be fucking cool. Or I was a rancher. I really like pigs. Get me some pigs. Gives you a reason to leave the ivory tower. And then, and it makes the automation feel a little more natural. Like, you've got the neighborhood and not the sweatshop.
Again, it would turn the game a lot into, like, Terraria, you know, which I do still have mixed feelings about whether or not that's really what Project Zomboid could or should try to be. I'll admit, I still have mixed feelings on it, but I can see it. I can see what you mean.
I think it would just come down to implementation, and if the devs can actually implement it in a way that is not turbo ass.
Yeah, in a way that's not 10 years too late for, you know, 10 years too late to be launching a game like this.
But like that is actually part of their development plan. Like hold on.
I mean, this
Build.
build isn't even stable yet. We got to figure out what those NPCs are even going to be. That's way off in the future. Let's try to keep it to stuff that's like at least foreseeable. We don't know what the NPCs are eventually going to actually be used for. We still really don't know at all. There are NPCs in Ark though, right? How do you think? Do you think they used them well?
Actually, this is relevant. Part of their roadmap, their official roadmap, is that this is the NPC stage. Build 43 is where they're going to start focusing on NPC engagement.
Okay.
They want to have everything polished, done, pretty, and perfect by 48. But build 42 was going to be the longest one they had because that was going to be like the fucking big change. Everything else from here should be like 6 months to a year.
I've heard developers say that before.
Yeah, but they're also not reworking the entire fucking like graphical systems and the crafting systems and the skill systems and the systems. They're like, I think that, yeah, literally it says intermediate update, NPC stages. So they're adding, I think they're planning on adding like dogs and cats and
that'd be cool.
Hostile animals like wolves and bears, boars and shit. Which is fucking sick. I'm excited for that.
Can I add what I think would be the solution to the rooftop problem?
100%.
Despite my having said before that I don't want Project Zomboid turning into a D&D style questing system, I actually think that to an extent that would be good. I think that if you had... Forget about automation. One of the biggest problems I have with starting with something like automation, the same as like starting with the crafting system, I don't even go through enough knives right now that there's a need to automate knife blacksmithing. I don't go through enough large handles or enough axe heads right now that I need to automate building axes. So what I think they should do first, and where I think, what I think solves the rooftop problem is basically dungeon delving, to put it as simply as possible. Like creating some kind of either a quest system where NPCs will tell you to clear a certain area, retrieve an item from a certain area, not dissimilar from basically Fallout or Skyrim, you know, or any real RPG. I just said it's a questing system, you know, where an NPC or an annotated map or something, or, you know, maybe it can be as simple as that walled off salesman NPC who takes over a storefront somewhere inside of town at 1 month in, tells you, I'll give you this incredible item that's one of a kind if you can kill 200 zombies that are currently in kill 200 zombies in or around the Rosewood prison. That would be cool. And I think, you know, doing stuff like that, like giving because right now, like I said, loot goblining is like the meta. Like you kind of naturally go there, or at least those are the types of people who continue to play the game. You know, you create your dragon's hoard of tools and bullets and guns and cans of baked beans, and you become the guy from the Last of Us, Bill, I think his name. I always just say Nick Offerman. You create Nick Offerman in the middle of Kentucky, and you sit on your goblin's hoard of tools and guns, and you don't really do anything with it. Where I think they should be devoting themselves before they worry about the NPCs, because you don't need to automate yet when you already have a dragon's hoard. We need to answer the question of, what do you do with that hoard? What do you spend those bullets on? What do you need those cans of baked beans for? And giving you a reason to like go out, actually like a full quest, go and do something that takes, because, you know, I mean, clearing, even with high guns and melee skill, it just takes clearing out a place like the Rosewood Prison just takes time. And it's a really cool experience. I mean, I've done it solo. It's so fun. I mean, we all probably have. But it's fun, but it's not even... What's unique about Project Zomboid as an experience and doing things like that, where I think they could really take advantage of the game, is that doing stuff like that is, sure, somewhat a skill thing, but mostly it's time and it's resources. So you have to, once you've accumulated the time, meaning you're not going to run out of food within the next 30 seconds, and the resources, meaning the weapons, cans of baked beans you can put in your car trunk and take with you on a quest. Once you accumulate that, you spend it going out and using those weapons, those daggers that you forge or an NPC forges to go out and kill zombies, and you get that quest to go and kill 200 zombies at the Rosewood Prison, or to go retrieve an item from deep in the Rosewood Prison, or in the military base, or the new basement base that's in West Point, that all of us have probably watched videos of but never actually explored ourselves, right? I mean, give the players reason to go dungeon delving. I think that's the issue. Or the March Ridge military barracks. Go to the top floor. Something like that, I think would be... I think they need to answer the question of, what do you use your Dragon's Hoard on before they give you they worry about automating creating your Dragon's Hoard. That's, in a sentence, that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, like I said, when I was playing and on the one server I was on, I used to build basically Kowloon, the walled city, like the one they had in China where it's like all walled off. I had like all my shops.
I remember that.
Everything. I had like them on the floor, well, the first level, then I'd have the libraries and other stuff on the second level, and this thing was like 6 stories tall.
Well, Saul, how do you feel about the idea of, because ultimately, again, we're trying to solve the rooftop problem here. Do you think that how do you think best? How do they get you off the rooftop? That's the question we want to answer here. Do you think that what I just described would get you off the rooftop?
Honestly, no.
No, okay.
Honestly, I don't care what the NPCs want to do. If he wants me to go kill those, I don't really care unless he's got something I really, really want.
Okay.
But what got me off the rooftops normally was, first of all, I like to go out and just loot things for no particular reason.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, I like to bring cars back to disassemble. And the third thing is we had the power armor mod, and I was hunting down power armor.
Well, what if the thing he offers you is a rare car or a rare piece of flooring you can't get otherwise?
Well, see, that didn't really matter because, see, the flooring I wanted was, I had tatami mats. We were using, we had like an Asian style mod. So I used to use the tatami mats and, you know.
Okay, yeah, but Saul, we want to stick to the rooftop problem, though. We want to stick to that.
What I was saying is, what got me off from looking for the rooftop, like off the rooftop, was when I was out looking for power armor, because we had the power armor mod.
Okay, well, but what if there was an equivalent to, like, rare armor that could be offered in exchange for a quest to go to the bottom of the Rosewood Prison? Would that be of interest to you?
I'm kind of a little iffy about that. I think it depends on what I would have to do for that. See, like I said, I just like going out and looking for it. You had to go to all the military bases and hunt down this item.
You prefer it just be like a random drop?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what made me go out and look for it, because I'd have to go to the military bases and just hunt down zombies to look for this thing.
Okay. Well, Hef, how do you feel?
I maintain, if like you're building a community, you're decorating on behalf of the NPCs, that's what you're doing with the Dragon Horde. You're fixing windows. You're like fucking maybe Gary down the street did a run for food because he forgot to put food in his cabinets and accidentally pulled like 6 zombies. They fucked up his windows. They almost killed him. You got lucky. You gotta go fix it. Maybe they broke his table. Now you got a couple other things to go update. God forbid they use cars. Which
I feel like that's
fingers
just a bad
crossed,
idea.
no, not anytime soon. But like maybe one of them takes your car for a spin and fucks it up hilariously. You gotta fix that now. You hope you have the spare engine parts, some gas, and some maybe some new headlights.
But I mean, would that just be like a random event then? Like a random event breaks a bunch of your windows, go find new ones. A random event destroys your car off screen, go find more parts. I mean, yeah, it would encourage you to have the stuff on hand,
events,
but
like, I wouldn't say necessarily random events because that would be ass.
that would,
But, like,
yeah.
Like, hey, it would be faster if you took the car to Muldraw since we're out in the country. Take the car and go do this. We're gonna go do this. One NPC goes off to fetch quest on your behalf while you, I guess, chop some wood and build up some walls. If you're feeling the aesthetic of being the person to build. But then that guy comes back, car's fucked, covered in blood, and he's just like, bad time.
Okay,
Now
so I
you
mean,
got a
it
car
would still basically be random events. I guess maybe like an exploration or an expedition system, but it's still kind of hits that issue of like, you know, it's ultimately a dice roll. Oh, thank you for the thank you, Sorel and Actual. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's still a dice roll that ultimately decides whether or not, you know, you have to go out and replace 6 of your windows. I mean, I don't know. I understand where you're coming from as far as it would create a reason to get off the rooftop, which is the point. It would create that,
Yeah,
but I feel like it would frustrate people more than anything to have to just like.
To be fair, if you're driving fast enough on the road, it's a dice roll on whether or not your car gets fucked anyway.
I mean, you're not wrong.
God forbid there's a wreck in front of you and you happen to be going 95 because why not? It's a zombie apocalypse.
You're not wrong.
Or, God forbid, you rabbit caltrops. Like, that is just an objectively funny one currently, where, pack of rabbits on the road, haha, fuck you, goodbye tires. It's one more of those, which is not the end of the world, pun kind of intended there, but it's something that is, like, it's rabbits for the late game. Where rabbits on the road is always just kind of annoying, like it is kind of your natural speed checker. But it is the reason to step off the hill. When you hit the rabbits and your tire pops, you get out of the car. When your fucking buddy Steven fucks up your nice new Honda Civic because he went and picked up some shit that you asked him to because you were running low on supplies, now you gotta fix the car.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but again, if it's an NPC, it is still just a dice roll whether or not your Honda Civic gets fucked. And I feel like that fundamentally is gonna piss players off. You know? Like the dice roll that happens off screen being the reason you have to get off the rooftop, I think will create more frustration.
Yeah, well, see,
do you get pissed off when you accidentally hit the deer?
When I do, yeah, but I keep playing. But if an NPC, if a computer does it fucks up my car, I'm gonna feel a lot differently.
Well, his message just said something. Okay, he said when he hits the rabbits, it's annoying. So you don't think this is gonna be annoying for all the other players when this happens to them with, you know, their cars or windows or whatever? Nobody wants annoying mechanics. That's the problem now. That's why they're losing players, is because they make things tedious and annoying. No one wants to do it. And if I have to deal with an NPC who keeps smashing my car or breaking out windows, guess what I'm not going to have at my base? Those NPCs. I don't want to have to keep replacing windows. I don't want to have to go look for this stuff.
He makes a good point.
It's like a
I mean,
5% chance.
Plus, I already normally have like 8 billion tons of food in my place. Why? Because I've looted every grocery store in West Point, Maldriff.
Yeah, Hephaestus, you can't turn around and say like, oh, it's only a small chance, because again, what we're trying to answer is, does it get you off the rooftop? A 5% chance doesn't do that, so we're back to square one. What?
No, but like it's a cumulative thing of like you're still gonna have to go get gas. You're still gonna have to go get other things to do other maintenance. But with a smaller percent chance of, well, now you actually have to worry about fixing the car. Kind of like if you went out yourself. Like,
But again, there's
nobody
a difference
expects you
between me
200,
going out
300.
myself and fucking up my car and an NPC fucking up my car off screen. There's a big difference in how players are going to view that.
Yeah, and again, that's this. Normally, my place that I locate myself at is at a gas station. And since I normally have infinite gas at the gas station, I won't run out of gas. I
Yeah.
don't have to go look for it.
Well, forget about the gas in specific, though. I mean, FS, just go on.
Well, I was going to say, like, yeah, but for the specifics, like, that's like saying, like, if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. Like, okay, I see your point, and we're speculating options.
But,
well, yeah, but, like, I'm saying for people who don't live at a gas station, they're going to have to think about gas. For people who don't live on a fucking river, they're going to have to worry about food because they can't just sit there and spam fishing all day.
Well, but the problem is they'll just live at the gas station, and if they know that these NPCs are going to be using the fuel out of the car, they'll just build a base at the gas station. So then they're back on top of the gas station rooftops.
Or they just won't let the NPCs use the fucking car. Like, if they're that bad at driving, why fucking let them behind the wheel to begin with? It'll be something as a learning experience.
Well, then there's no reason to have the NPCs. I don't know. I see what you're trying to accomplish here. I feel like this is the issue we're going to have with NPCs, and I really do think that the Indie Stone needs to start grappling with this now. What do players even want NPCs to be doing? Because if there's a potential that NPCs can go on quests and die, then no one's gonna send them on quests because it's going to be brutally difficult. Based on the Indie Stone's track record with these things, that they're going to, if there's a chance that an NPC going on a quest can fuck up your car, can break your windows, and you're going to have to go, like, it's one thing for your window to get broken from a horde that you personally fight off. It's another thing to come down from what is essentially a random encounter where an NPC tells you, hey, zombies broke the window, go find a new one, Another settlement needs your help. Whatever else. There's just a difference there in how players are going to view, actions they take versus an NPC, which is why, again, I think the best thing to do is to have a system where players are going out and doing things, accomplishing things, as opposed to just trying to fix, patch over the holes that NPCs are creating in their own base. Our Dave says it well. I feel like it would turn into a babysitting mechanic if I have to if my reason to get off the rooftop is fixing the windows that got broken and fixing the car again when I didn't even drive it, stuff like that. I feel like it would start to feel like babysitting.
Well,
you're not wrong, but like
a mod where you could fix the power, the water, and those kind of things.
Mm.
And they were for late game.
Yeah.
You couldn't just do it on day one. You had to actually wait and fix these things as they went down. And you had to have other players because it was made for multiplayer servers. And it was so you could restore the power and water and stuff to the area. See, something like that would get you off the roof because then you would have a reason to go fix the water system or something. But
and I know exactly which mod you're talking about. That kicked ass. Like, I really liked that mod.
And see, that gave people a reason to get off the roof and work together so they could go get the power back on. So you wouldn't be wandering around through towns trying to loot buildings without a flashlight.
Now that we've made our point to Hephaestus, though, I mean, how do you... Is there a version of that, of what you're saying, that you think would get people off without making them play babysitter?
I mean, I'm going to keep it a stack. If the chance of something bad off-puts you enough to not play a game, why the fuck are you playing video games?
That's a little
'Cause, like,
unfair.
well, like
I can
if
do
the chance that you lose a game is going to off-put you enough that you don't want to play, why are you playing? I had a guy that I played Magic the Gathering with at community college who, even when he won, he got fucking angry. And we had to sit down and have that talk. Why the fuck are you playing this game? And the answer was he wanted to spend time with us. So we
Look,
stopped
again,
playing
I see
Magic.
what you mean. It's just, again, I
But-
feel like there's going to be a difference in how players react to something
No, I
bad
mean,
happening due to their own personal actions versus an NPC's actions.
Yes, and if that makes you not want to use the NPCs, congratulations. It's a sandbox game. Don't talk to them. Shoot
Oh,
them
don't
when you
use
see
the, oh, just don't turn it on argument. Don't do
Well, no,
that.
not even don't turn them on. Be the fucking bandit. Shoot the NPCs. Ignore their quests. Rob them.
Okay, so maybe that could be the way to do it, is just turning into a straight menace. Having that option maybe is how you would maybe fix that.
Yeah, I mean, if there's people involved, if there's NPCs, that should always be an option. Like you don't always play a good guy when you're playing any RPG, really, and it's a sandbox game. Like it's not Minecraft where you get into industrial slavery levels of fucking villager upkeep, but either you work with the community and you listen to what they're talking about, and oh, I want this, I want that, or you're the guy with a shotgun who goes, I like your backpack, pop. And that's a choice. That is a choice. Having more choices is not a bad thing. Having more options at the buffet is not a bad thing. You still get to pick how you engage with them.
I mean, yeah, but if the developers spend all this time crafting this, cooking this finely assorted buffet, and then what players actually end up doing is ultimately a lateral move, then that's a lot of time, energy, and resources for nothing. Like, if NPCs are a nuisance in my base, but I don't have the heart to shoot them on sight, those are two ends of the spectrum. But I feel like where most players would end up falling is in the middle of just like, I'll just ignore the NPCs then. And then why have you spent all the time doing it? Why have they spent all the time and energy creating them if most players are going to see them as a nuisance when they're in their base, but not necessarily have the heart to just gun them down on sight? It's...
the same reason that a chef makes foie gras instead of chicken nuggets and pizza.
Why do they?
Well, because somebody will want it. Having more options is never that bad. They didn't make fucking keychains that had like duckies and 8-balls for the combat player who doesn't bother picking up keys because they just swing a fire axe through every door.
I mean, yes, but the keychains are yet another example, much like this, of they spend a lot of time and energy creating a new mechanic, and then the mechanic is so obtuse no one wants to engage with it, as the Indie Stone tends to do.
I mean, I like it. I go find rabbit's feet because it's funny to have the lucky paw.
Oh no, I like
horribly.
Okay, I don't mean to bash the key system. I also enjoy the key system. I usually try to get the 8-ball. I also enjoy that. Yeah. I'm just saying that came paired with keys having weight. So even when they gave us something good, it had to be a little bit shit just to piss off the players. I don't want NPCs to end up like that. I don't think that would be good for the game. I don't think
that's entirely fair. I'm kind of thinking about it with like the wolves and the boars and like bears. Like if you live kind of close to the woods and a bear comes out and that motherfucker takes like 10 7.62 rounds to take down, people are gonna fucking shit, piss, and cry about the bears all over Reddit. The bears are too hard. And I'm gonna look at them and be like, motherfucker, do you know what a bear is?
Yeah.
Of course the bear is hard. Get your ass back inside. Why the fuck did you walk outside when a bear was out there?
Okay, let's take another example, though. Let's take a recent example of something like that happening in-game. Not in Project Zomboid. Yeah. Let's compare it to... Let's take a comparable example. Look at the cougar from the Long Dark. People didn't complain because the cougar was hard. People complained because the cougar wasn't interactable enough. It didn't physically exist in the world. It was just suddenly on top of you. And people collectively said, that's bullshit. I should be able to interact with it ahead of time. You know, implementation.
Yeah, no, that is bullshit. I agree.
Implementation matters. Will there be some people who complain that the cougar's too hard, the bear's too hard? Sure. And cougar should also be in Project Zomboid. It'd be fucking awesome. But the decision can't be made that players just have to be a certain degree of pissed off. You know, that's the problem. The Long Dark, I always use it as an example for a reason. It's in the same position from the same generation of survival games where they want them to be a certain degree of piss off the player, a certain degree of obtuse, and it just becomes obnoxious. And I don't want to see that happen with the NPCs. And I'm afraid that it will if having them in your base makes them break your windows. If having them in your base means that sometimes when you come home, your car is at 0% condition. People just wouldn't use the NPCs. And then what have you spent the time and energy on? You know? And it doesn't create a reason to get off the rooftop. You're just adding more things to the rooftop. They'd be a decoration practically.
Well, actually, let's take it even a step further, or away from the damaged car. What if they don't come back in 2 days? Are they dead? Are they just trapped in Moldra? Now you have a reason to go find Steve. Maybe you bring the posse with you, like you and fucking however many other NPCs you could put a gun or a bat in the hand of. Y'all walk into town because fucking Gary took the car. You go in and Gary is the front runner of a horde now, or is on a rooftop fucking screaming for help and is just surrounded because he's kind of dumb. Or you find the car like parked in front of like a house and Gary's in the basement shitting and pissing himself, but there was like a decent swarm of zombies outside.
It sounds narratively interesting. It's just
But I just wouldn't go get him. That's it. I mean, if he doesn't show up in 2 days, or a week, or whatever, I just wouldn't go look for him. I wouldn't care. He's an NPC. And
versus
I would go look for him
every time because that would be interesting. But that is agency. Just because you don't like chicken nuggets doesn't mean I don't want to see them at my fucking buffet.
Well, no, what I was going to tell you, it's like the same thing with the bears and stuff. That's just going to make me want to stay on the rooftop more. If I know if I come off the rooftop, I'm going to get attacked by a bear, a wolf, a coyote, I don't know, a giant mutated hamster, whatever it is, I'm not coming off the rooftop. Why? Because there's a bear down there, man. That's just
and that kind of lends me... That kind of leans me back to like to the thing. Like, what exactly are you wanting from the game if dealing with something makes you not want to do the thing?
Because
like if the idea of,
I think it just needs to have a reward at the end of it. Like I just think it needs to have some kind of a tangible reward, which is why I keep pushing for like a dungeon delving system where people can like, where, you know, where a trader tells you, hey, go kill 200 zombies at the prison, come back, get a reward for it. You've made progress. You have something to spend your loot goblin's horde of bullets on, but also you get something. You get to trade. That I think would fix things before we even get to NPCs, before we get to there. You know, they need to find something for you to do. They need to fix the fundamental problem of getting you off that rooftop, you know, away from your rooftop garden and out, pressing into the world, doing things. Fix that before we even address the issue of what we want NPCs to be doing. Or else I think they're just going to create the same problem over and over again.
That's the wild thing, though, is if you never leave the ivory tower, you'll never meet that merchant either. There would be no reason to find the merchant because outside spooky.
There's still no reason to find the merchant if you're fine on the rooftop. There's still no... Why do you need a merchant? I mean, if you have enough food and water on the rooftop, if you're fine, which even most Apocalypse players can do, because most Apocalypse players have memorized all the canned beans spawn. They come home and they're fine. You know, there's got to be... It's got to have something for you to go out and get that's really tangible that you want. We got to figure out, and we need to be addressing what that thing is before we worry about NPCs. I don't think NPCs solve that problem. I'm just not seeing that.
Well, and that's kind of the thing, is it's a sandbox game. What do players want out of a sandbox?
I mean, that's the whole point of this
Like
show.
what do you want out of Minecraft?
Well, what do you want,
Which
Hephaestus? Let's go back to that, because that's the whole point of this show. What do you want? What gets you off that rooftop?
I, honest to God, think it would be fucking cool if first aid at level 10 let you cure the infection. And you got like a little you win teehee kind of thing. Like if you really wanted some kind of I want out, I want to be done with the game, let me research and work my ass off to study the corpses and look through the blood and figure out if I am smart enough to doctor my ass out of the apocalypse.
I believe there was both a mod and a really big YouTube video by was it Orion? You know the one I'm talking about, because he also did an RV one.
Yep.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, and yeah, okay. I mean, maybe. I mean, that could work. I mean, like collecting zombie samples, killing zombies to collect samples to do that could be interesting. That could work. Like a genuine end state, even if you don't win, you can cure yourself or something. That could work.
Yeah, or like even getting like the ability to just like cure yourself. Having the option to like get an like, I got bit, let me fucking hit myself with this inoculation so it's not the end of my road. Would be kind of cool.
Okay.
Having more things to do at the end of the game that isn't tediously masturbate over a forge to try to get a dagger 150 times so that I can make a sword. Or fucking sit there and like weld my way through 7 houses so that I can put a metal sheet over my window. Or fucking like Sal was saying, like building 80 floors because I didn't read the fucking book because I couldn't find it, to be able to build one wall.
Give me 1 sec, right? I'm going to come back one more time. But please, go on ahead. I still want to hear your thoughts.
I feel like having more options for players is never a bad thing. Because it gives, like, it's a sandbox. It gives you more options to choose from. The UI being bad is why people don't want to do that, which is one of the reasons that is a problem they need to solve. With the NPC, like the future ideas for NPCs, having them not just be mouth-breathing fucking goblin things that just stand there and like breathe at you and take your resources up is going to make NPCs the make or break, in my mind. Like, you can't just have them be non-participatory little goblin things and hope to God that people want to use them, because that just will not work. I don't know. Is what I'm saying making sense? Sal, you still there?
So, I mean, I was listening the whole time, and I'm coming back to the same problem where I agree with you about all the things you're saying about NPCs, I think are true as far as what NPCs need to be doing. It's just that, again, when we ended Build 40, the promise was that, they wanted to try to find a reason to get us off the rooftop. They told us it would be new advanced crafting systems that need all kinds of new materials that allow you to do cool shit. That would be the new late game. That would be the new things to go out and gather when you have everything. And it wasn't. Build 42, while it has some cool shit, they promised that was going to be the new thing. And it turned out that just making the player sit there for 30 hours gathering obscure materials and trying to make this stupid crafting system work wasn't actually interesting enough. You know, they promised that was going to be the new end game crafting was going to be the thing that got you off the rooftop, and it didn't. I feel, while Hephaestus, I totally understand what you're saying about NPCs. I understand the issues with NPCs, and I agree with you that they need to implement them as soon as possible. That's why I keep pushing for like a basic trader, just to see how people would interact with it and start collecting that data. But I just don't think, I feel like if they push for NPCs but don't address this problem and really, really spend a lot of time thinking about how players interact with the game, I think we're going to see the same thing where they spend time and energy on a brand new system and it doesn't fix the rooftop problem. That's how I feel like NPCs will turn out if we don't solve this problem.
Okay, if you read to me, if I want the rooftop problem fixed, some of it, it's going to be the combat system. It has nothing to do with the rest of it. Because to me, it's like you're playing a game of Golden out here. Everybody's got a golden gun but you. Because if a zombie bites you, you're dead. If you get scratched, you're dead. You fall here and you can't walk properly, you're going to die. I mean, everything will kill you. So then when they're talking about, oh, well, let's put bears and wolves in here. No, everybody's already got a golden gun now, except for you. That's not a wise decision. Why do you think I'm still on top of this roof? Because I know if I come down off this roof, everybody's got a golden gun but me.
Well, do you think that will solve? I mean, do you think that making the game easier would fix that?
Well, no, I'm saying it's okay. If you're going to get attacked by something, you should have a percentage of not being, instantly infected and die.
That's true. That's true now, Saul. That's like what is it? A scratch is 7% chance of infection. A laceration's 25, and a bite is 100. That's already true.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying, I should be able to go through this because if I'm wearing, a long sleeve shirt and somebody bites me, yes, it's going to hurt. But they're not going to bite through my arm normally.
You already have a lower chance. I feel like we're retreading ground here. Look, again, though,
that is something they can also do to fix is the armor system. I do have to agree there is like, currently it feels like wearing armor means fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Where it's just extra encumbrance.
I'll agree to that. The armor system does need work.
That is actually something I will agree with, 100%.
Yeah, because when I wear armor, I feel like no matter how much armor I'm wearing, I'm always going to end up getting bit some random way because, I can't target this enemy and I'm a quarter inch off to the left or right or whatever it is that for some reason I didn't hit him when I seen him coming 40 miles away. And it always seems to be 100% chance that I get infected, no matter how much. I mean, it's like the dude comes by and sneezes on me, I'm already infected for some reason. So, when you got like bears, which honestly bears wouldn't normally be attacking you in general unless you attack one of them, because most bears avoid people. But that's neither here nor there. But if you got attacked by a bear, with the armor system you got, it's going to insta-kill you. Unless you got a shotgun or something to kill me with.
Well, let's get back to where we were before, because like this has turned into legitimately like a really interesting conversation about this rooftop problem. I really want to stick to that. We've got about 20 minutes left before I'm going to end the stream. I really want us to hammer that home. Saul, you're making good points, but I want to hammer this home. I really just want to hear from you guys. Like I've said what I think would solve it, which is I think a questing system, a dungeon delving, not in that terminology, but system where you spend your resources going to the prison, clear this, clear that, whatever, clear a difficult area. I think that is, in exchange for a good reward, what that reward would be, we'd have to figure out. But that's how I think that the rooftop problem could get fixed. I want to hear from you guys, though. At the end of this conversation, I mean, how are you feeling like we should go ahead and fix that problem? What are your thoughts on fixing it?
That's kind of my devil, is like, it's a sandbox game. Where do you put an end game in your sandbox game? which is why like I think like the person who did that whole like you can cure the apocalypse was kind of cooking. Like that is a cool ass mod. Um, Also, fucking somebody else did like an extraction mod where you can like actually contact the military and get like an evac out.
So
That's
you think some kind
kinda
of an
cool.
end state?
Well, like, so have you watched The Good Place? Just
Oh
as a
yes,
show.
yes. I actually I think I know exactly
Yeah.
where you're going to go. Is just having that door that exists that you can walk through to end the game at any moment changes the
Yeah.
way you see the rooftop. Yeah.
Because, yeah, once you've done everything you'd like to do, you step through the door. And
And
I
then
feel like that is kind of the hiccup of all sandbox games is like they don't put that door in and you just kind of get complacent with a, well, I don't want to die, so I guess I'm just going to sit here and fucking meander about until I get bored and then uninstall or move on to something else.
okay. I I see what you mean. I think
Versus,
that would work. I don't know if that would work for the main game, but yeah, some form of exfil. But I do think that for like scenarios such as the island map or the Hollywood backlot map, or even some scenarios that take place in the main map, I do think that would be a cool concept I would want to see implemented. I don't know about for the main game, but I do think you're on the money. Some kind of a scenarios mode would be very, very cool. Because the fact that that's only relegated to mods right now, I think is unfortunate.
yeah, well, like, think about, like, the Arc mod. It adds NPCs, it adds a quest, it gives you a narrative forward. The one thing I don't like is that it fucking kills you if anybody but you dies for fucking some reason. But like it having that driving like okay, well it's not just me now. There's something to work toward. There is a goal, which I personally like. For me, I like the idea of building a community and rebuilding out of the apocalypse. That's what I want NPCs for, is to kind of establish that like we did it thing. That actual like the apocalypse wasn't the end. Humanity made a comeback. This is not, this is how I died, but this is also how I lived.
Okay. Some kind of an end state. Something post apocalyptic. Something where you can at least start NPCs as a way to rebuild. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. Saul, how are you feeling? And I'm going to interrupt you if we get off track here, but Saul, how are you feeling about the rooftop problem and how it could get solved?
I like the whole idea where there's some kind of end game because it gives something to work for, which is nice. Because once you get done, you build all your houses, you build all of the stuff, you decorate everything. You can finally just leave the map. There's some way out, which does give you some finality to the game.
Okay.
And maybe once you leave the map, maybe you'll land at a military base and they're going to have the same problem. So you can actually start a secondary map.
That could be cool.
Give you something else to work for.
Let me read.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, let me read Signy's
Oh my
comment
God,
real fast
having
here. Hang
that.
on. I think the animated maps could play a larger role helping flesh out an end game. Annotated maps that can point you to a place where a cure breakthrough was worked on or where a functional ham radio exists. You can use to call for an evac. Even point manuals or books that are quest items could be used to power on a major bunker. NPCs could give out annotated maps and clues, maybe. Yeah, something like that.
That
I
would be
mean, in
fucking
general.
sick.
Go ahead.
Shit, no, actually, I really like that, and that kind of lends into the thing I was saying is like the NPCs could hand you an annotated map and be like, my sister lived here. That's why I got in a car accident. I was gonna go look for her. Can you go here? Like obviously my leg's broken or whatever XYZ excuse.
I still feel like it would very quickly turn into another settlement needs your help, and people would just not care. And then you've spent all this time and energy integrating this complex system for what? So players can ignore it? That's my problem.
I do see that.
That's the same reason I leave Preston Garvey in the museum and I use Nuka World Raiders.
But exactly, like ignoring the NPCs could end up becoming the meta in the same way that, using that activating muscle strain made cars, then made killing zombies by running them over with the car, made cheese the new meta, unintentionally. I feel like there can be unintended consequences to how players interact with the game. That's part of what we're trying to tackle here. The annotated maps, I think, are good because they do kind of fill a similar role to what you're describing with the NPCs, Hephaestus. Like, the annotated maps kind of already do exactly what you're describing, to the point I'm not even sure you need NPCs at that point if that's all you're doing. Maybe even just, pointing you toward a survivor house with lots of loot ultimately might accomplish the same thing. Like, do you even need NPCs if that's it? I go back and forth on an end state. I don't know about that one. I'm gonna keep quiet on that one. I go back and forth on it, whether I think an end goal is right for Zomboid.
I think
personally.
it adds some interesting depth, but yeah, no, I kind of see your point on that too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like the way I was saying is it technically wouldn't be in the end to the map. You'd get on the helicopter, the military would take you off, and you'd land like basically on a military base. And then you kind of find out that it's basically overrun too when you got there. So basically, you're just kind of restarting into another map, a whole new map.
Maybe. I mean, that could.
You already had from the first map.
That could be cool, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. It could be all right. It could be cool. It would be interesting to break it up that way. But I mean, if you already have this big singular map, I mean, let's try to keep the player there as much as possible. I don't mind the idea of an end game if it still accomplishes the goal of getting you to use those resources you're hoarding. You got to stock your car with baked beans and water and ammo to go out and get this exfil state. Like my main goal is just getting the player to actually go out and accomplish things. That's where I think, and I hope this comes across, because God knows I've said it 30 times. The main goal for me is still doing whatever it takes, whatever form it has to take. The goal is just to get the players off that rooftop, get them to go and fight the zombies, get them to go and want to clear the town, clear the prison, get to a certain state, climb a water tower somewhere, going out and accomplishing goals, any goals, really. I still just am skeptical that NPCs alone accomplish that goal of getting players to go out and do things, for reasons other than, oh, an NPC broke your window, go find a new one. That sucks. I don't know, and truth be told, despite my, always sounding like 14%, like at least sarcastic or snobby, I don't know what the end goal is. I don't know what the answer is. This is hard stuff that we're chewing on here, which is part of why the conversation's interesting. I don't know what that state would be or how you get the player off that rooftop exactly, but that's where I want to encourage everyone to be thinking is like, we need to be thinking, how do we get the player going out, accomplishing other goals beyond just survival? Maybe it's as complicated as a narratively driven NPC quest. Maybe it's as simple as a rare type of flooring that you want to put in your apartment that's only available in this one specific apartment building in the heart of Louisville. Maybe it's one of those, but it's got to be something. And I don't think just throwing more features at the problem solves it, because it felt like that's what they tried to do with a lot of the crafting in 42. They tried just throwing a hyper complex crafting system at the problem of the players never leaving the rooftop, and all it left us with was an obnoxious crafting system nobody uses. You know, you've added this thing, but you haven't changed the game. You haven't solved the actual issue. I don't want to see NPCs go down that same route. I hope that comes across.
No, absolutely. Like we are all here having this conversation because we want the game to improve. It would be asinine for somebody to come in and be like, I just don't like it, and fucking snivel and bitch, because what's the fucking point? Like, we all want the game to improve, and that was part of what I was getting at earlier with the whole buffet analogy of, like, having more options isn't necessarily bad, because, like, what you want from the in-game is not necessarily what I want from the in-game. But it still needs to fucking work.
Yeah.
Like, having your option and having my option would be nice, but if neither one of them fucking function, what's the point?
If they don't solve that basic issue, then we're back where we started, ultimately.
Yeah, it's you could have 100 options at the buffet, but if they all taste like a fucking ham sandwich, well, why the fuck did you cook anything?
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we're in our last couple of minutes now. What's anyone else got some final wrapping up points here?
Yeah, no, I like the movable bases too. Those were nice. When they had the mod for that, that actually made me where I wanted to leave my rooftop because I could take my base with me.
Maybe I mean, we can add that to the list of possible solutions. The RV/box truck home. Maybe that's another way you get players to like make living mobile a real viable option.
And it made me want to go out more and go hunt for stuff. Because then I'm just not on my rooftop. I can just take my bus out or my box truck and go do my thing. And I can just stay in there and work on stuff. And then I can leave and go out in town and loot stuff and come back to the truck. Then when I get tired of being there, I can just move somewhere else with the truck. It was pretty nice. Maybe
that's an issue that we haven't even thought of yet. Maybe the secret is just making it easier to take more stuff with you. You know, if you can take a bus load of supplies with you from your Dragon's Hoard, maybe players will be more likely to go out and do stuff. Kind of like with the when you unlock the Cyclops in Subnautica, and you can just take a mobile base with you wherever. And like it's obnoxious to drive, but you have it's just a whole ass base you just take with you. Maybe that's the option. Maybe that's the solution ultimately, is just having a mobile style base you can just take in the form of an RV or a box truck. Maybe that's the option here.
I said more options is never bad.
More options is never bad.
And it's part of the reason I like the RV mod is like, it is just a mobile fucking house.
It's really cool.
And being able to expand on that would be cool. Like having like your actual house and then having like the RV where you could stack up all the shit you think you might need. You take the RV on the big battle trip, and then you come home with all your decorations and all the crazy shit that you wanted to put in there. Because, like, currently, if I want like paintings and refrigerators and shit, it's a long ass arduous process where I'm gonna make 3 to 10 trips depending on how much shit I think is interesting at the house. Versus you have the RV, you just stack that sumbitch full and then you come home. But that means you are out and about and moving around and engaging with the world almost the entire time.
That's what I used to use the box truck for, because you could open the back of the box truck, climb in the back, and you can have a base back there, or you could just store, like 40 fridges in there if you wanted. But they all had to be, stuck on the ground. You couldn't just stick them in anything. But anyway, yeah, and I used to enjoy doing it because it helped me when I was building my base, like, all those apartments I was working on and buildings. So I could go out and get supplies and come back with them. And sometimes if I had to log off, I'd just get in the back of the box truck and then log off. So when I logged back on, I wouldn't have to worry about, zombies being right where I was. So it gave you a little bit more freedom. And it got me off the rooftops. as well.
All right. Well, do we have any last final words here?
Anybody in the chat too, by all means. But yeah, I will stand by what I said. I feel like having more player agency is never a bad thing for a sandbox.
I don't disagree. I do disagree on what agencies they need to be working on expanding, but I don't disagree with you. With that, though, I think we'll probably go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you, first of all. Thank you, Saul, Hephaestus, and Ali earlier, if you're still lurking in here. Thank you for hopping in this chat with me. This was an amazing first episode return back. I would like to keep doing a little talk show style on Thursdays. I might. We didn't manage to bring anybody over from the subreddit. I don't know where else I can go out to try to find Zomboid play. Maybe the Steam forums. I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking for options. DM me or post on the Discord if you have any ideas. But thank you guys just for coming and having this conversation with me. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
I was maybe the official Discord. I know those guys can be a little persnickety, but
I feel like if I post a link there, they're gonna be real mad about it. And there's not really a good way to link to this Discord or my channel without, because that was my problem with the subreddit too, is like if you post links, they're gonna sniff at you, like even if it is genuinely well intentioned, even if we are here genuinely trying to give good feedback to the devs, it's still gonna be looked at like I'm still kind of whore just coming in trying to get views. So it's trying to figure that out. Yeah. But yeah, if you guys have ideas, DM me, let me know in the Discord. Thank you again for taking part. This was a phenomenal conversation, and I will probably end up putting this in a video because this is a super awesome conversation. I probably make a larger video about the rooftop problem in the next couple of days, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys once again. We're going to go ahead and wrap up here. Have a phenomenal rest of your night. Again, thank you, Saul. Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Hef, for just being in this conversation with me. I appreciate you guys. Our day, have a good one. Signy, Sorel, and Actual. Everyone who's in the chat, all you guys. I don't pay attention to the actual list. I just see who's in the chat. But thank you guys. I will see you soon.